You feel it, that spark inside, the moment when everything shifts, your mind sharpens, your senses awaken. Clarity is no longer distant, it is here now in your hands. This is the moment everything changes for you. You are not the same person you were yesterday. You are stepping into a new version of yourself, a version that sees with precision, listens with intention, and understands with power. Stop guessing, stop waiting. The answers are closer than you think. People are no longer mysteries. Their intentions, their truths, they are revealed to you when you choose to notice. Influence flows naturally when you comprehend fully. Lead decisively because insight demands action. You hold the key. Your focus is unwavering. Your awareness is heightened. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to act, to rise, to excel. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. This is your time. Chapter 1. The Power of Immediate Insight. You stand at the edge of every interaction with a choice. You can glide through the motions, assuming, guessing, hoping, or you can awaken. You can stand. Immediate insight is not a talent, it is a skill, a muscle that grows the more you use it. Every glance, every pause, every gesture is a signal. Your mind is capable of noticing what others overlook. Your attention is sharper than you believe. It begins with stillness, with focus, with the decision to fully engage, look, listen, decide. These are not empty words. They are commands. Commands to your mind. Commands to your spirit. Stand now and commit to noticing what others leave unspoken. Watch the subtle shifts in expression. Observe the micro movements that hint at truth. Listen for the spaces between words. The hesitation, the tone, the rhythm. Decide what it means. Decide how you will respond. Decide who you become in that moment. There was a time when you moved blindly through conversations, missing the cues that mattered most. You accepted surface words as truth. You trusted appearances alone. But everything changed when you chose to see differently. Imagine a moment, a negotiation, a meeting, a connection where stakes were high. You paused, you observed, and you noticed what no one else did. A fleeting glance, a tightened jaw, the subtle hesitation in a word. You read it instantly, and in that instant, the power shifted. You acted. The outcome bent toward your awareness. The world did not change. You did. Your attention is your greatest tool. Treat it like armor. Treat it like a lens. Every human reveals themselves if you know how to watch. It is not magic. It is understanding. And understanding is influence. The more present you are, the more precise your perception becomes. Every choice you make, every response you offer, carries weight. And the weight is magnified when it is guided by insight. You have an attention muscle. Right now it is awake, waiting to stretch, waiting to grow stronger. Each observation, each mindful moment adds tension to the muscle, and with tension comes power. Power to see, power to understand, power to act. Do not underestimate the small things. A flicker of emotion across a face, a shift in posture, a pause before a word. These are the signals you were meant to catch. Look, listen, decide, practice it, repeat it. Build the rhythm of attention. Let it become second nature. In every interaction, you are training yourself. You are becoming the person who sees what others miss. You are becoming the person who commands the room without raising your voice. You are becoming the person who reads the currents before the storm hits. There is a story to remind you of this power. You were at a crossroads, facing someone whose intentions were unclear. Others moved hastily, responding without thought, but you paused. You noticed the way their hand trembled slightly when they spoke of opportunity. You heard the hesitation in their words, the way certainty wavered just enough to betray doubt, and you knew what no one else did. You leaned in, chose your timing, and responded with clarity. The outcome shifted. Success landed in your hands not because of luck, not because of chance, but because of awareness. You understood instantly. You acted decisively. You became the leader of that moment. Immediate insight is not just about reading others, it is about mastering yourself first. Your perception, your focus, your emotional control, these determine the depth of your understanding. You must clear mental clutter. You must eliminate distractions. You must tune into the present with precision. Only then can you decode intentions as they arise. The more disciplined your mind, the more powerful your perception. Look, listen, decide. Do not let anything pass unnoticed. Your surroundings, your conversations, your observations, they are all data points. Every piece of information adds to your comprehension. Every human movement, every tone, every word is a thread in the story they are telling. You have the ability to weave it together instantly, to see patterns others overlook, to predict outcomes with clarity. You notice, you understand. These are affirmations, but they are also commands. Repeat them in your mind. Internalize them. Let them echo in every interaction. The more you declare it, the more you embody it. The more you embody it, the more natural it becomes. Your eyes sharpen, your ears tune, your mind interprets with speed and precision. You are not guessing anymore. You are seeing. Do not fear being wrong. Immediate insight is about probability, about noticing what matters, about choosing with awareness. Every misstep is feedback. Every moment is a lesson. Each time you pause and observe, you train your perception. Each time you decide based on insight, you strengthen your leadership. You are becoming the person others instinctively respect. You are becoming the person who commands attention without force. Imagine walking into a room now. Every person there is transparent to you, not in a supernatural way, but because you notice. You hear the rhythm of their intentions. You see the shadows of their true motives. You understand without judgment. You understand without speaking. Your influence without speaking. Your insight is silent, yet it carries the power of action. You hold the advantage because you chose to observe. Look, listen, decide, stretch your attention muscle, train it every day. Make it a habit. Let it awaken before every conversation, before every challenge, before every challenge, before every challenge, before every decision. This muscle is not passive. It grows with tension, with deliberate focus, with practice. The more you notice, the more you understand. The more you understand, the more you lead. You are not the person who wanders blindly anymore. You are the person who sees, who perceives, who interprets. You are the person who transforms moments into opportunities. This is your power. This is your skill. This is your leadership. Immediate insight is your gateway to influence. It is the foundation of every connection, every negotiation, every decision you make. You notice, you understand. Say it now. Feel it. Let it sink deep into your being. Your attention is alive. Your perception is precise. Your insight is instant. Every action from this moment forward is guided by awareness. Every interaction is a chance to exercise your skill. Every outcome bends toward your readiness. Look, listen, decide. This is the mantra. This is the command. The world moves fast, but you move faster. Your mind is alert. Your senses are tuned. Your presence is undeniable. Others may overlook the details, but you will never miss. You rise, you act, you excel. Immediate insight is not the result of luck. It is the result of intention, of focus, of mastery of your own mind. Every moment you choose to observe, every pause you take to notice, you strengthen the foundation of your leadership. You are becoming the person who wins, not by force, but by awareness. You are becoming the person who sees everything before it unfolds. I notice, I understand. These words are your affirmation, your shield, your command to yourself. Say them, feel them, act on them. With each observation, you rise higher. With each decision, you step into power. With each interaction, you exercise the skill that separates leaders from followers. Look, listen, decide. The power is yours. The skill is within you. The moment is now. Every glance carries meaning. Every pause speaks volumes. Every word is a clue. Your mind interprets. Your heart aligns. Your spirit commands. Insight is instant when you choose it. This is the chapter of awakening, the chapter where you claim your attention, your perception, your understanding, the chapter where you step into power that has always been within reach. You notice, you understand, you are ready, and the world begins to reveal itself to you, moment by moment, movement by movement, intention by intention. Chapter 2. Reading body language like a leader. Every human communicates beyond words. Every posture, every gesture, every fleeting expression tells a story. Their body speaks before their words, and you, if you choose to see, can understand that story instantly. You can read truth, detect hesitation, and feel the currents of emotion flowing beneath the surface. This is the power of body language, a silent language that reveals more than speech ever could. When you master it, you gain insight that others can only guess at. You become the person who notices what everyone else misses. You become the person who leads with awareness, who guides with precision, who influences without force. Watch closely. Wait, move. This is the rhythm of attention you must adopt. Every interaction is a stage. Every gesture is a signal. Every subtle shift holds meaning. Your eyes, your focus, your awareness, they are instruments of understanding. When someone leans forward, what do you feel? When their hands tremble ever so slightly, what does it tell you? When a smile does not reach the eyes, what are they hiding? Each signal is a puzzle piece. Every micro-expression is a key. You are the one who puts the pieces together, who unlocks the meaning hidden in plain sight. Notice how a slight tightening of the jaw signals restraint, a flick of the eyes signals doubt. The crossing of arms may indicate discomfort or calculation. Each movement carries intention, and when you understand intention, you understand people. The leader does not simply react. The leader observes. The leader interprets. The leader interprets. The leader responds with clarity. You are becoming that leader. You are tuning your mind to the unspoken. You are seeing the invisible torrents of thought, of desire, of hesitation. Imagine walking into a room and knowing what everyone feels before a word is spoken. Imagine the advantage of predicting reactions, adjusting your approach, aligning your strategy to the unspoken truth. You no longer guess, you no longer stumble, you navigate with precision. Each movement you notice becomes a signal to act. Each pause becomes an opportunity to understand. Each glance becomes information. You are reading the room, you are reading the moment, you are reading the people. Now, let us focus on micro-expressions. They are lightning flashes of truth. A brief furrow of the brow, a quick tightening of the lips, a fleeting glance away. These are signals that last a fraction of a second, but carry the weight of honesty. You must learn to see them. You must learn to feel them. They are subtle, yes, but not invisible to the trained eye. Your attention is your instrument. Your awareness is your amplifier. You will notice them. You will interpret them. You will act. Posture is another revelation. The way someone carries themselves speaks volumes about confidence, hesitation, dominance, or submission. Straightened shoulders indicate readiness. Leaning away indicates caution. Feet turned toward someone indicate interest. Feet turned away indicate withdrawal. Your task is to notice these cues instantly. Your mind decodes, your intuition interprets, and your action aligns. You become the leader who moves with insight, not guesswork. You move with clarity, not uncertainty. Gestures are equally revealing. A hand placed protectively over the chest signals self-preservation. A tapping finger signals impatience. Open palms signal honesty. Fidgeting signals discomfort or deception. The small details, when pieced together, tell the larger story. You are not merely watching. You are understanding. You are understanding. You are interpreting. You are leading with insight. Every gesture is a window into intention. Every posture is a map of thought. Every micro-expression is a signal you cannot afford to miss. Watch closely. Wait, move, repeat this rhythm in every interaction. Observation without action is incomplete. Action without observation is blind. You are combining both. You notice, you interpret, you act. This is leadership. This is influence. This is the skill that separates the ordinary from the exceptional. When others are blind to the signals, you see clearly. When others react slowly, you respond with precision. You become a force of understanding that cannot be ignored. Emotional pacing is critical. Pause for awareness. Let tension rise as you notice hidden signals. Let curiosity sharpen your perception. Let your understanding deepen. Every subtle movement, every fleeting glance, every brief hesitation carries energy. Feel it. Absorb it. Let it guide your actions. You are not overwhelmed. You are empowered. You are focused. You are commanding the room without speaking. You are leading from awareness, not assumption. Now, consider how alignment of body and mind amplifies your insight. When your awareness is focused, your perception sharp, and your intention clear, the signals you notice become tools. Tools to influence, to guide, to act decisively. You become the person who interprets what is unsaid. You become the person who interprets what is unsaid. You become the person who predicts outcomes before they unfold. You become the person who understands human behavior instinctively. Imagine the future you, a room full of people, each interaction rich with information. You read intentions before they are expressed. You sense hesitation before it becomes decision. You feel truth before it is voiced. You move through the world with a heightened sense of awareness. You respond with precision. You act with clarity. This is not imagination. It is the skill you are building. This is the power of reading body language like a leader. Every day you can practice, observe strangers, notice gestures, interpret posture, decode expressions. Each encounter, each glance, each movement trains your perception. Your attention muscle grows stronger. Your insight deepens. You become faster, more accurate, more confident. You notice when someone is holding back. You notice when someone is ready to move forward. You notice when truth is hidden behind a smile. You notice when intentions are pure and when they are clouded. Now, short punchlines to anchor this skill. Watch closely, wait, move. Watch closely, wait, move, repeat. Let it become instinct. Let it become your default rhythm. Let every conversation, every interaction, every room you enter reveal its hidden truth. Your perception is alive. Your understanding is immediate. Your action is precise. Stories anchor skill into memory. Recall the time you noticed what no one else did. A colleague, hesitant, biting their lip, eyes darting. Everyone else pushed forward, ignored the subtle signs. But you paused. You saw the unspoken. You understood the hesitation. You adjusted your approach. You aligned your words to their emotion. The outcome changed. You changed. You acted with awareness. You led the moment. The lesson. The body reveals everything if you pay attention. Micro-expressions, posture, gestures together, they form a language of intention, emotion, and truth. Learn it. Learn it. Speak it with your eyes, with your perception, with your understanding. This is the language of leaders. This is how influence is earned. This is how respect is commanded silently. Short bursts of command reinforce mastery. Look deeply, feel the motion, sense the intent, act decisively, repeat, build the rhythm, strengthen the attention muscle, notice patterns, predict reactions, lead with awareness. Your presence becomes magnetic. People respond not to your words alone, but to the energy of your understanding. You are in control because you see clearly. You are in command because you notice first. Now visualize again. Walk into a room and know what everyone feels. Sense it in posture. Sense it in gesture. Sense it in gesture. Sense it in micro-expression. Your awareness is heightened. Your perception is calibrated. Your insight is immediate. You understand what others cannot explain. You act where others hesitate. You influence without speaking. You lead without effort. This is the power of body language mastery. The skill compounds. Each observation makes the next sharper. Each interpretation strengthens your intuition. Each action based on insight builds confidence. You are no longer guessing. You are perceiving. You are understanding. You are leading. Every gesture is data. Every posture is information. Every expression is in guide. And you are the master of all three. Pause. Feel the tension. Absorb it. Let it inform your next interaction. Let it guide your presence. Let it sharpen your instinct. You are ready. You are alert. You are in command. Repeat the rhythm internally. Watch closely. Wait. Move. Watch closely. Wait. Move. Watch closely. Wait. Move. Watch closely. Wait. Move. Let it echo in your mind. Let it embed in your actions. Let it shape your leadership. You are becoming the person who sees beneath the surface. You are becoming the person who understands instinctively. You are becoming the person who leads with awareness and influence. Affirm aloud. I notice. I understand. I read the truth behind every gesture. I interpret what is unsaid. I act decisively. I am ready. Your skill transforms every interaction into opportunity. Your perception becomes a weapon of insight. Your awareness is an anchor of power. You are the leader who moves through the world with understanding that others only wish they had. The body never lies. The signals are always there, and you will always notice. Now prepare for the next moment. Your eyes are open, your mind is alert, your body is tuned to the currents around you. The world speaks, and you understand. You are ready to act, ready to lead, ready to influence with silent authority. Every glance, every movement, every expression will reveal its truth, and you will see it, you will understand it, you will use it to rise. Watch closely, wait, move. Always, this is your mantra, this is your skill. This is the power that separates observers from leaders. You are becoming unstoppable. Chapter 3. The art of listening with intention. Close your mouth. Open your mind. These are not suggestions. They are commands. Every word spoken around you carries meaning, but only if you are truly listening. Hearing is passive. Listening is active. Hearing lets sound pass through your ears. Listening lets it enter your mind, your understanding, your awareness. You're about to learn a skill that transforms every interaction, every connection, every decision. This is the art of listening with intention, a skill that turns conversations into insight, insight into influence, and influence into leadership. Imagine walking into a meeting. People are talking, words spilling out rapidly. Others nod absent-mindedly, thinking they are engaged. But you are present. Every syllable is noted. Every pause is observed. Every inflection is measured. You do not let words pass unnoticed. You absorb them, reflect on them, weigh their meaning, and allow them to guide your perception. This is the power of intentional listening. Poor listening creates misunderstandings, missed cues, missed opportunities. People talk, but you misinterpret. You respond, but the response falls flat. Tension rises, confusion spreads, decisions are delayed, influence is lost. But when you listen, truly listen, you invert the equation. Understanding becomes instant. Connection becomes effortless. You become the person everyone wants to speak to because they feel understood. Silence is your tool. Do not fear it. Embrace it. In silence, meaning emerges. In silence, clarity arrives. In silence, the unspoken is revealed. When someone pauses before speaking, lean into that pause. Let it stretch. Observe it. That pause carries weight. It contains thought, hesitation, emotion. It tells you what words cannot. Silence amplifies what is being said. It clarifies intentions. It exposes truth. You will learn to wield it as a leader. Close your mouth. Open your mind. Resist the urge to fill every gap with your own voice. Let the other speak. Let the other reveal. Your role is not to dominate the dialogue. Your role is to understand. Listen, not to respond, but to comprehend. Listen to what is said and listen to what is not said. Read between the lines. Feel the rhythm of the conversation. Recognize patterns. Detect emphasis. Interpret intention. There was a time when listening felt ordinary. You nodded, you smiled, you assumed you understood, but you did not. You missed the subtle cues, the hidden signals, the real meaning behind the words. You acted too soon, responded too quickly, and lost opportunities that were within reach. The lesson was hard, but invaluable. Listening is more than hearing. Listening is understanding instantly. Listening is leadership in action. Let me take you to a real moment. A colleague was speaking, explaining a challenge they faced in a project. Everyone else was distracted, checking phones, thinking about their next words, glancing at emails. But you paused, you leaned in. You noticed the hesitation in their tone, the slight tremor in their voice, the repeated phrases that hinted at underlying frustration. You asked one question, simple but precise. You repeated back their words in your own understanding. You reflected what they meant, not just what they said. And suddenly the conversation changed. The tension dissolved. Insight emerged. Solutions became visible. The colleague felt seen. The problem was understood, and you realized the true power of listening with intention. Listening is not passive observation. It is active engagement. Your mind must stay alert. Your heart must remain open. Your focus must be sharp. Every word, every sound, every nuance becomes data. Every gesture, every breath, every pause contributes to the picture. You absorb it all, process it, and respond with understanding, not assumption. This is what separates leaders from bystanders. Now, consider questioning. Questions are your tools for deep understanding. Not all questions are equal. Some reveal nothing, some disrupt. But questions with intention, precise, reflective, well-timed, unlock meaning. They clarify, they illuminate, they expand. Ask to understand, not to challenge. Ask to learn, not to argue. Your questions are invitations to insight, not traps of debate. They guide others to reveal what matters. They allow you to see what is hidden. Reflective feedback is the crown of listening. When you mirror understanding back, you confirm connection. You demonstrate comprehension. You validate presence. So what you're saying is, or I hear that you feel, are not just phrases. They are conduits of clarity. Reflective feedback ensures that understanding is shared. It bridges gaps. It prevents miscommunication. It transforms dialogue into alignment. Close your mouth. Open your mind. Lean into every word. Absorb every pause. Question with purpose. Reflect with clarity. You are sculpting understanding in real time. Each conversation becomes an exercise in insight. Each interaction becomes a practice in leadership. Each silence becomes a signal. There are patterns to human speech. Subtle cues in tone, pitch, pace, and emphasis repeat across interactions. You will learn to recognize these patterns. You will anticipate what is unsaid. You will notice when someone is avoiding a topic, when hesitation masks fear, when excitement hides caution. The more you tune in, the more accurate your perception becomes. This is the rhythm of intentional listening. Observe, interpret, reflect, respond. Imagine now, you walk into any room, any conversation. You hear what matters. You understand instantly. You grasp the hidden meaning. You interpret context. You recognize emotion. You anticipate outcomes. You influence effortlessly because you comprehend fully. The skill of listening with intention transforms not just communication, it transforms leadership itself. Tension arises when listening is neglected. Conversations become chaotic. Misunderstandings fester. Decisions falter. Frustration builds. You see this everywhere. Meetings that accomplish nothing. Dialogues that frustrate rather than clarify, conflicts born of misperception. Leaders fail not because they lack knowledge, but because they fail to listen. They act on assumption, on guesswork, on incomplete information. You will not be that person. You will listen. You will understand. You will understand. You will act decisively. The power of listening is amplified by patience. Do not rush to respond. Allow the speaker to complete their thought. Allow the meaning to surface. Silence is strength. Presence is power. Focus is leadership. With every pause you honor, with every word you absorb, you train your mind to interpret the depth of human communication. You grow stronger. You become sharper. You become indispensable. Short punchlines anchor your practice. Close your mouth. Open your mind. Listen actively. Reflect consciously. Respond wisely. Repeat. Let these rhythms become instinct. Let every conversation train your awareness. Let every interaction refine your understanding. Now let us examine emotional intelligence within listening. Every word carries feeling, every cause carries weight, every gesture carries intent. When you perceive emotion accurately, your comprehension deepens. You respond not only to content, but to the energy beneath it. You validate, you guide, you influence. Listening with intention is listening with empathy and precision combined. Think back to moments where miscommunication caused friction. A word misunderstood, a tone misread, a hesitation ignored. Imagine if you had paused, observed, reflected, and asked one clarifying question. Imagine the outcome shifted entirely. Opportunities that were lost would now be seized. Tension would dissolve. Trust would form. The world opens when listening becomes your priority. Storytelling strengthens this principle. Recall a scenario where a client, friend, or colleague spoke haltingly about a complex problem. Others interrupted, redirected, or ignored cues. But you paused. You reflected their concerns. You asked precise questions. You mirrored understanding. The breakthrough emerged. The solution became clear, and the relationship deepened. This is listening with intention. This is leadership manifest in real time. You will learn to interpret not only words, but rhythm, energy, and unspoken signals. These are layers of communication. You must absorb them simultaneously. Multi-level listening creates a perspective others cannot access. You will anticipate needs, clarify misunderstandings, and align perspectives before others realize there was any ambiguity. This is strategic listening. This is influence through comprehension. Imagine practicing now in every conversation, noticing micro pauses, tone shifts, choice of words, phrasing. You reflect silently. You absorb. You process. You respond with insight. Every interaction becomes a laboratory of understanding. Every dialogue becomes a training ground for mastery. You are becoming the person who hears not only words but meaning, emotion, intention, and truth. Affirm, I hear what matters. I understand instantly. Let it sink into your consciousness. Let it guide your presence. Let it guide your dissonance. Let it strengthen your leadership. Listening is a superpower, and it is yours to cultivate. Every conversation, every pause, every reflection builds the muscle of awareness. Every word absorbed builds authority. Every insight applied builds influence. Close your mouth. Open your mind. Absorb everything. Let the rhythm of intentional listening guide you. Pause when necessary. Question when appropriate. Reflect consistently. Respond decisively. You are the observer. You are the interpreter. You are the interpreter. You are the leader. With practice, listening becomes second nature. Conversations transform. Tension resolves naturally. Trust forms without effort. Clarity arises instantly. You become the person who understands before action is required. You become the person who sees the truth behind the words. You become the person who leads effortlessly, not because you speak louder, but because you listen deeper. Remember, silence is your ally. Questions are your tools. Reflection is your strength. Observation fuels comprehension. Empathy enriches perception. Awareness elevates influence. You are mastering the art of listening with intention. You are cultivating a skill that transforms relationships, opportunities, and outcomes. Imagine now the next conversation you enter. You are calm. You are focused. You hear beyond the words. You sense intention. You detect emotion. You interpret context. You respond with clarity. You influence with precision. You lead effortlessly. This is the power you are building. This is the transformation you are embracing. Short bursts to reinforce mastery. Close your mouth. Open your mind. Reflect. Absorb. Respond. Repeat. Let it become instinct. Let it become second nature. Let it become the foundation of your leadership. You are ready. You are aware. You are in command. I hear what matters. I understand instantly. This is your affirmation. This is your power. This is your skill. Every interaction, every word, every pause reinforces it. Every moment you listen with intention, you rise. Every moment you act with comprehension, you lead. your ability to hear beyond sound, to understand beyond words, to perceive beyond appearances. This is the hallmark of leadership. You are cultivating it. You are strengthening it. You are becoming unstoppable. Close your mouth, open your mind, listen with intention, lead with awareness, act with insight. The world responds to those who truly hear, and now you are one of them. Chapter 4. Identifying true motives. People are icebergs. What you see on the surface is only a fraction of the truth. The rest lies hidden beneath, massive, silent, and powerful. Their words may glisten like sunlight on water, but beneath the surface are currents of fear, desire, ambition, and hesitation. If you want to understand anyone instantly, if you want to lead, influence, and succeed, you must learn to read what lies beneath. Observation alone is not enough. You need intuition, you need focus, you need the skill to decode, to decide, to act. Decode, decide, act. These are your commands. Say them now. Let them sink into your mind. They are not abstract, they are practice. Every interaction, every glance, every hesitation is a clue to hidden motives. You are the detective. You are the observer. You are the one who uncovers truth where others are blind. Start with observation. Look beyond the words. Watch posture, gestures, expressions. Notice repetition, hesitation, intersyntheses. People give themselves away in micro-moments. A fleeting frown, a rapid blink, a pause too long. These are signals, hidden truths seeking recognition. You must see them. You must interpret them. Combine observation with intuition. Intuition is not magic. It is your mind connecting patterns, sensing inconsistencies, and understanding context. When words and actions contradict, pay attention. When someone says, "I am fine," but their shoulders slump, their tone falters, or their eyes drift, you are being offered a window into their true state. Trust your perception, trust your instincts. They are sharper than you give them credit for. Imagine walking into a negotiation. Every person at the table presents a front. They smile, they nod, they speak with confidence. But beneath their words lie fears, hidden agendas, and desires that drive their decisions. You watch, you listen, you notice subtle tremors in voice, shifting weight, avoidance of eye contact, or a tightening of the jaw. Each signal adds to the picture. You begin to see what others are hiding. You begin to understand their motives. You begin to understand their motives. You begin to anticipate their actions. Suspense builds when you realize how much is hidden. Every human carries a private world beneath their exterior. Most people live oblivious to their own motives. They act on instinct, habit, and fear. Few reveal their intentions consciously, but you will see what others cannot. You will recognize patterns. You will interpret the signals. You will uncover the truth. There was a time when you accepted appearances as reality. You trusted words at face value. You assumed intentions aligned with expressions. But every failure, every misunderstanding, every disappointment taught you otherwise. The lesson is clear. The surface is deceptive. Depths contain the real story. People are icebergs. The visible is minor. The hidden is monumental. If you want mastery over influence, communication, and leadership, you must train yourself to see below the waterline. Decode, decide, act. Let these words guide you. Decoding begins with careful observation. Decide requires your mind to interpret meaning. Act demands courage to respond, to align your behavior, to influence outcomes. Every step matters. Each interaction is a training ground for skill. The more you practice, the faster you recognize underlying motives. The more you act on them, the more powerful you become. Suspense rises as you notice subtle contradictions. The way someone hesitates when asked a direct question, the way their tone shifts when they speak about certain topics, the way body language and words diverge. These signals are your map. Follow them carefully. Trace the currents beneath the surface. Every person carries desires, fears, ambitions, and intentions. You can see them if you know how. Future pacing, imagine the world as an open book. You walk into any room, any conversation, and immediately perceive the truth beneath the surface. You understand why people act as they do. You sense fears they conceal. You recognize desires they deny. You anticipate reactions before they occur. Your perception is not limited to words. You read energy, emotion, and intention. You interpret motive as naturally as breathing. This is your skill. This is your power. Let us practice with a scenario. A colleague presents a proposal with enthusiasm. Their words are polished, their gestures confident, but you notice micro-signals. A tightened jaw when discussing budgets, a slight blink when mentioning deadlines, a subtle shift in posture when questioned about risks. You pause, you reflect, you interpret, you recognize the fear underlying their ambition. You sense the pressure that drives their decisions. You now hold the insight that others overlook. You act with precision. You address the concern before it becomes an issue. The result shifts. Influence aligns with understanding. Power emerges from perception. People are predictable once you understand underlying motives. Patterns reveal themselves. Repetition, avoidance, exaggeration, hesitation, all are clues. You must train yourself to recognize them without judgment. Understanding motives is not manipulation. It is clarity. It is awareness. It is leadership. When you see motives, you navigate interactions with precision. You guide outcomes without force. You influence without coercion. You lead by understanding. Decode, decide, act, repeat. Let these commands embed into your mind. Every person, every interaction, every situation becomes an opportunity to practice. Observe what is said and unsaid. Notice what is avoided and emphasized. Interpret signals within context. Trust your intuition. Respond with insight. Your skill strengthens with every encounter. You begin to recognize motives faster. You anticipate actions before they occur. You align your response with understanding. You lead with clarity. There was a moment that illustrates this skill perfectly. A client approached, presenting a confident exterior and persuasive words. The others were impressed, convinced by appearances. You noticed the micro-signals, a quiver in their tone, a shifting weight, a hesitancy in hand gestures. You decoded the fear beneath their ambition. You understood the pressure driving their decisions. You acted, framing your response to address the hidden motives. The client responded immediately. Trust emerged. Alignment occurred. The outcome was favorable. You realized that the surface is only the beginning. Depths contain the truth. Your attention must be precise. Every glance, every gesture, every pause carries information. Your mind pieces together the pattern. Your intuition interprets. Your action confirms understanding. The iceberg is no longer mysterious. You navigate its depths with skill. You see the part that lies beneath. You anticipate movement. You respond with awareness. Influence and leadership are born from this perception. Short, intense commands keep you sharp. Decode, decide, act, decode, decide, act, decode, decide, act. Feel the rhythm. Let it guide your awareness. Let it shape your perception. Let it strengthen your decisions. You become unstoppable in understanding human behavior. You are not guessing. You are observing. You are interpreting. You are leading. Consider motives in conflict. People rarely speak the truth about what drives them. Fear, pride, insecurity, ambition. They hide these behind words. If you respond only to words, you are blind. If you respond only to appearances, you are manipulated. If you respond to surface cues alone, you miss the game entirely. You must decode. You must understand the hidden motives. You must act on insight. This is mastery. This is power. This is leadership. Now, future pacing again. Imagine you step into any room. Every word, every gesture, every hesitation conveys intent. You read the currents of ambition, the ripples of fear, the undercurrent of desire. You understand the truth beneath the surface. You anticipate outcomes. You guide decisions. You influence silently but decisively. You act with precision because you see clearly. Your insight is instant. Your understanding is profound. Your leadership is undeniable. Stories anchor skill. Recall an instance where decoding motives changed everything. A team member, nervous yet ambitious, spoke with rehearsed confidence. Their words promised commitment. Their body suggested doubt. You noticed the tension in their hands, the flicker in their eyes, the subtle retreat in posture when challenged. You decoded fear masked by ambition. You addressed it directly, aligning their incentives. The project succeeded. The relationship strengthened. You acted decisively because you understood the hidden motives. Suspense, tension, and anticipation are part of the process. The deeper you look, the more you notice. The more you notice, the more power you hold. This is why leaders train themselves to see below the surface. This is why influence is strongest when based on understanding. This is why mastery of human behavior begins with decoding motives. Short, sharp lines reinforce focus. Watch, observe, decode, decide, act, repeat. Each interaction hones the skill. Each observation strengthens intuition. Each decision guided by insight confirms your power. You are not limited by appearances. You are not bound by words alone. You see beyond. You understand beyond. You act beyond. You are a leader because you comprehend the hidden. People are icebergs. Words are the tip. Intentions, fears, desires, ambitions, they are the bulk beneath. You navigate it all. You interpret what others miss. You act where others hesitate. You influence where others fail. You lead where others stumble. Your perception is your advantage. Your intuition is your guide. Your action is your confirmation. Decode, decide, act. Imagine now your future self walking into any room, any interaction, and immediately recognizing hidden motives. You anticipate fears, detect desires, understand agendas. You respond with precision. You influence effortlessly. You lead instinctively. You are trusted because you understand. You are respected because you see the truth. You are followed because you act on insight. Affirm, I notice, I understand. I decode motives. I act decisively. I see what lies beneath the surface. This is your skill. This is your power. This is your leadership. Every glance, every gesture, every hesitation confirms it. Every moment of observation, every act of insight, every decision guided by understanding reinforces it. You are unstoppable. Decode, decide, act. Let this rhythm guide you. Let this skill define you. Let this skill define you. Let your awareness become instinct. Let your leadership become inevitable. People are icebergs. You see the tit. You understand the depths. And you act. Always you act. Always you lead. Always you rise. Chapter 5. Emotional intelligence in action. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. These are not suggestions, they are imperatives. Every interaction you engage in is infused with emotion, yours, theirs, the invisible currents that shape decisions and reactions. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing your feelings. It is about mastering them, channeling them, and using them to influence outcomes with precision. It is the bridge between understanding and leadership. The moment you harness it, you transform every encounter into an opportunity to rise. Start with awareness of self. Your emotions are powerful. They can elevate you or they can mislead you. Calm the storm within before attempting to navigate the storm around you. Recognize the impulses that rise: frustration, impatience, excitement, fear. Each has meaning. Each carries energy. Do not deny them. Do not react blindly. Observe them. Name them. Assess their origin. This is control. This is clarity. Your mind becomes a command center where every decision is deliberate, not reactive. Tension builds when emotion runs unchecked. Imagine a high-stakes meeting. A colleague challenges your proposal sharply. Voices rise. Others take sides. Chaos lingers at the edges of the room. Many would respond defensively, reactively, emotionally. But you pause. You breathe, you feel the energy, the fear, the ambition, the desire beneath their words. You sense the unspoken. You control your mind. You do not mirror chaos. You absorb it. You decode it. You guide it. Feel their world. Step inside it. Do not lose yourself, but see through their eyes. Empathy is not agreement. It is understanding. It is perception at its highest level. A trembling voice may signal fear of failure. A tightened posture may reveal resistance or insecurity. A fleeting glance may expose doubt. By sensing their emotional state, you gain insight into motives, concerns, and priorities. Your leadership is no longer based solely on strategy or intellect. It is based on understanding human behavior at its deepest level. Imagine a crisis scenario. A team is at risk of collapse under pressure. Deadlines loom. Conflicts erupt. Morale dips. Many leaders react with directives, impatience, or force. You do not. You observe. You assess. You sense fear, frustration, and anxiety beneath composed surfaces. You regulate your own emotional energy, maintaining calm, steadiness, and authority. You mirror confidence and assurance. You ask precise questions. You listen intently. You offer reflection and perspective. Slowly, tension dissipates. Misunderstandings are clarified. Direction emerges. The crisis is navigated. Your emotional intelligence turned potential disaster into opportunity, doubt into action, fear into focus. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. This is the rhythm of mastery. It is a cycle: self-awareness, empathy, influence, action. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Each conversation, each conflict, each moment of uncertainty is a chance to train this skill. You become a leader who moves through challenges with grace, authority, and precision. Emotional regulation is not passive, it is active engagement. Recognize when emotions arise within you. Intervene consciously. Shift focus from reaction to response. Transform anxiety into attention. Transform irritation into inquiry. Transform excitement into deliberate influence. The mind controlled becomes the tool that guides action. Every response becomes intentional. Every interaction becomes a statement of leadership. Empathy, when wielded correctly, is influence. Feeling another's world allows you to guide decisions, shape perspectives, and inspire action. You do not manipulate, you understand, you resonate, you connect, you align. People respond, not because you command them, but because you comprehend their world. When they feel understood, they trust. When they trust, they follow. When they follow, you lead effortlessly. Consider a scenario of negotiation. The other party is resistant, guarded, tense. Words are clipped. Gestures are closed. Most see a stalemate. You see beyond. You've seen the root of hesitation, a fear of loss, a concern for reputation, an unspoken pressure. You adjust your tone, your words, your presence. You mirror confidence, empathy, and authority. You ask questions that allow them to reveal concern safely. You reflect understanding without conceding authority. Slowly, walls lower. Trust builds. Agreement emerges. Emotional intelligence shifted the outcome. The stakes did not change, the approach did. Strong tension arises when people's emotions conflict with objectives. Teams disagree. Negotiations stall. Decisions are delayed. Conflict seems inevitable. You are the calm in the storm. Your emotional clarity allows you to perceive beyond reaction. You detect hidden fears, unspoken pressures, and concealed motivations. You intervene with precision. You guide without force. You influence without aggression. Your presence stabilizes the environment, enabling solutions that others cannot see because they are mired in emotional turbulence. Short commands anchor your focus, control your mind, feel their world, lead with clarity. Control your mind, feel their world, lead with clarity. Repeat. Let these words echo in every interaction. Let them guide awareness. Let them strengthen the rhythm of perception and action. They are your mantra for leadership in emotional terrain. Storytelling illustrates mastery. A team leader faced escalating conflict between two critical departments. Deadlines were missed. Frustration simmered. Everyone expected explosive confrontation. Instead, the leader observed. They noticed subtle signs: crossed arms signaling defensiveness, diverted gaze signaling discomfort, clicked tone indicating resentment. They regulated their own response, maintained calm, and addressed each individual with clarity and empathy. Misunderstandings were surfaced, concerns acknowledged, solutions proposed. Tension dissolved, cooperation emerged, deadlines were met, respect was earned. Influence was consolidated. Emotional intelligence turned chaos into leadership. Your own emotions are intertwined with this process. When you react impulsively, insight diminishes. When you act from clarity, insight multiplies. Each pause you take to breathe, reflect, and assess strengthens your influence. Each conscious decision to regulate energy amplifies your authority. Emotional intelligence is not innate. It is cultivated. It is trained. It is exercised with diligence, observation, and reflection. Imagine entering a tense negotiation, a high-pressure meeting, or a personal confrontation. You control your mind. You feel the undercurrent of fear, ambition, hope, and hesitation. You interpret subtle cues in tone, posture, and gesture. You ask precise questions. You reflect understanding. You respond with calm authority. Outcomes bend toward alignment, trust, and progress. This is emotional intelligence in action. It is invisible, yet undeniable. It is subtle, yet powerful. Your emotional awareness is heightened by observation and intuition. You notice shifts in energy, changes in tempo, variations in engagement. You detect micro-expressions that reveal hidden sentiment. You interpret the rhythm of speech and movement to discern motivation. You sense the alignment or misalignment between words and intention. Each observation informs your response. Each interpretation strengthens influence. Each action manifests leadership. Practice transforms skill into instinct. In every interaction, notice subtle emotional signals. Interpret their meaning. Adjust your energy. Reflect understanding. Respond decisively. Observe patterns. Anticipate responses. Guide outcomes. Each encounter becomes a laboratory for refinement. Each moment of regulation becomes a rehearsal for mastery. Each display of empathy becomes reinforcement for influence. Pause. Absorb. Let the rhythm of calm, tension, and resolution guide your presence. Let your perception sharpen. Let your influence grow. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Repeat. Every repetition strengthens the pattern until instinct takes over. Leadership becomes second nature. Influence becomes automatic. Decisions become guided by insight, not impulse. Consider how emotional intelligence affects relationships. Colleagues, clients, friends, teams. They respond to how they feel understood, acknowledged, and valued. Your ability to sense emotions, regulate your own, and guide interactions builds trust faster than any strategy. Influence flows naturally when people feel seen and understood. Leadership manifests through empathy and clarity, not through force or argument. Short punchlines reinforce mastery. Observe, feel, respond, repeat. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Observe, feel, respond, repeat. Let them embed in your awareness. Let them guide every interaction. Let them shape every decision. Your perception becomes instinctive. Your leadership becomes natural. Your influence becomes unstoppable. Stories anchor skill into memory. Recall a moment when emotional awareness altered an outcome. A critical project teetered on failure. Tensions ran high. Team members were frustrated, defensive, disengaged. You sensed the undercurrent, unspoken fear, unmet expectations, misaligned priorities. You paused, reflected, and engaged with clarity. You validated concerns, reframed objectives, and guided energy toward collaboration. The team aligned. The project succeeded. Emotional intelligence created the pathway where others saw only obstacles. Emotional intelligence is a cycle: awareness, empathy, regulation, influence, action. Awareness of self informs empathy for others. Empathy informs clarity of response. Regulation of energy ensures effectiveness. Action guided by understanding manifests leadership. Repeat endlessly. Reinforce it daily. Embed it into instinct. Your interactions become exercises in insight, influence, and control. Future pacing. Imagine the world as a landscape of energy. People's emotions ripple through interactions, shaping perception, reaction, and outcome. You perceive the currents. You understand the undercurrents. You act with precision. You influence without resistance. You lead effortlessly. Your awareness is not passive. It is active, precise, and commanding. You respond before chaos escalates, before misunderstanding arises, before opportunity slips away. Emotional intelligence elevates you above ordinary reaction. You operate in clarity, presence, and mastery. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Internalize it. Repeat it. Let it echo in every interaction. Let it guide energy. Let it shape perception. Let it inform action. Emotional mastery is not optional. It is essential. Every leader, every influencer, every person who commands results uses it consciously. You are no exception. Reflect. In every tense conversation, in every high-stakes decision, in every moment of uncertainty, you are calm, you are aware, you are engaged. You sense emotion, interpret motives, and respond with precision. You are unstoppable. You are influential. You are a leader. Short commands anchor action. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Control. Feel. Lead with clarity. Control. Feel. Lead. Repeat. Let these words guide instinct, shape perception, and direct action. Let them transform tension into opportunity, conflict into collaboration, and uncertainty into clarity. Your emotional intelligence magnifies insight. Observation alone reveals facts. Listening alone captures words. Perception alone notices patterns. But emotional intelligence integrates all. It transforms awareness into influence. It turns understanding into leadership. It bridges thought and action, insight and outcome, awareness and authority. You are mastering this skill. You are exercising this power. You are rising. Imagine the next moment. A challenging discussion, a tense negotiation, a fraught decision. You enter with calm. You sense energy. You observe subtle cues. You interpret the unspoken. You regulate your own response. You ask the right questions. You reflect understanding. You respond with clarity. Tension dissipates. Alignment forms. Trust solidifies. Outcomes shift in your favor. You are the calm, the guide, the leader. Affirm, I rise, I respond. I rise, I respond. I lead. Let it resonate in every fiber of your being. Let it guide every action. Let it strengthen every interaction. Your emotional intelligence is alive, practiced, and effective. Every decision is guided by insight. Every action is guided by awareness. Every connection is strengthened by understanding. You are unstoppable. You are influential. You are influable. You are influential. You are the leader. Others follow instinctively. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Embed this rhythm into your practice. Strengthen it through observation, reflection, and application. Every encounter, every challenge, every tense moment becomes a training ground for mastery. You rise through comprehension, respond through empathy, and lead through insight. This is emotional intelligence in action. Now, feel the transformation. You are aware of your own emotions. You sense the emotions of others. You regulate energy. You guide interactions. You influence outcomes. You lead with clarity. You are the calm in the storm. You are the anchor. You are the authority. Emotional intelligence is your superpower, your instrument of influence, your bridge to leadership. Observe, feel, respond, repeat. Control your mind. Feel their world. Lead with clarity. Internalize it. Practice it. Apply it. Let instinct and intention align. Your presence becomes commanding, your influence becomes effortless, your leadership becomes undeniable. You rise, you respond, you lead, always, in every interaction, in every decision, in every moment. Emotional intelligence transforms understanding into power. Understanding becomes action. Action becomes influence. Influence becomes leadership. This is your skill. This is your mastery. This is your moment. Chapter 6. Pattern recognition and human behavior. See the rhythm. Know the pattern. Take control. Life moves in cycles, and so do people. Their actions, reactions, and choices often follow invisible threads, woven from past behavior, emotion, and habit. You are about to learn the skill that decodes these threads, revealing the blueprint behind human behavior. This skill allows you to anticipate, to act decisively, and to lead with unwavering confidence. You will see the code beneath the surface, and in doing so, you rise above guesswork, uncertainty, and hesitation. People repeat, life repeats, mistakes repeat, success repeats, patterns exist everywhere. They appear in the way someone speaks, the way they respond to stress, the way they handle success, failure, or conflict. Observation alone is not enough. You must see repetition, identify causality, and interpret meaning. You must learn the rhythm. The more accurately you recognize patterns, the more confidently you predict outcomes. Your ability to anticipate is your edge. Begin with small patterns. Notice the cadence of speech, the way someone gestures when nervous, the timing of their pauses, micro-expressions that surface under stress. Each is a signal, a thread in the tapestry of behavior. Collect enough threads, and a picture emerges. One person may consistently avoid confrontation, but assert control subtly. Another may speak boldly when uncertain, revealing insecurity behind bravado. Recognizing these tendencies allows you to anticipate, adjust, and influence. Prediction exercises are essential. Watch interactions without participating. Observe carefully. Ask yourself what is likely to happen next. Note patterns, small deviations, and subtle consistencies. Test predictions silently. Compare outcomes with expectations. Adjust your perception. Refine your mental model. This is pattern recognition in action, a constant feedback loop where observation sharpens anticipation and anticipation strengthens action. Consider a negotiation scenario. The other party responds defensively whenever challenged. You notice this early. The pattern is clear. Resistance arises under perceived pressure. You predict how they will react to proposals, questions, and framing. You adjust your approach, softening challenges, guiding conversation, and asking questions that encourage openness. The negotiation flows smoothly because you recognize the rhythm of behavior before the conflict escalated. Your insight becomes influence. Your foresight becomes leadership. Short sentences anchor clarity. See the rhythm, know the pattern, take control, repeat, feel the cadence of people's choices, notice repetition, interpret intent. This is the practice of decoding human behavior. Each observation strengthens perception, each prediction informs action, each confirmation reinforces understanding. You are not guessing, you are reading life's code. Patterns exist not only in individuals but in groups. Teams behave predictably under pressure, success, or stress. Dynamics repeat across projects, organizations, and industries. Recognize collective behavior. Identify recurring conflicts, decision-making tendencies, and response styles. Anticipate reactions, guide outcomes. Influence becomes effortless when you see the rhythm of groups as clearly as the rhythm of individuals. There was a moment that demonstrates this principle. A manager repeatedly miscommunicated priorities. Teams consistently delivered work late, misaligned, or incomplete. Many blamed external factors. You observed. You noted recurring behaviors, vague instructions, shifting expectations, inconsistent follow-up. The pattern was clear. You predicted where confusion would arise. You intervened, clarified instructions, and preempted misalignment. Projects succeeded. Trust grew. Your anticipation became influence. Pattern recognition revealed the solution before chaos emerged. Suspense builds as patterns are tested. Not all repetition is obvious. Some signals are subtle, hidden under emotion, stress, or ego. You must train attention to micro-indicators, tone, posture, gesture, and timing. Repetition may appear in conversational habits, emotional responses, decision timing, or conflict resolution. Each instance is a clue. Connect the dots, decode the underlying system. You are not merely observing, you are interpreting the hidden architecture of behavior. Short commands guide action. Observe, predict, adjust, lead. Observe, predict, adjust, lead. Predict, adjust, lead. Let this rhythm become instinct. Each interaction becomes a laboratory, each observation a lesson, each prediction a test of insight, each confirmation reinforcement of mastery. You are not passive. You are active. You are aware. You are in control. Future pacing sharpens skill. Imagine walking into any room. You sense rhythm, anticipate actions, predict reactions. You see the underlying patterns before anyone speaks. Decisions unfold as expected. You respond with confidence, influence with precision, and lead with authority. Uncertainty diminishes. Hesitation vanishes. You operate with clarity and foresight. This is your power. This is your skill. This is your skill. This is your advantage. Patterns reveal intention. Repetition exposes motivation. Consider subtle behavioral cues. Someone who consistently interrupts may seek dominance. Someone who avoids eye contact under stress may conceal uncertainty. Someone who smiles frequently may use it as a mask for discomfort. Recognizing these tendencies allows interpretation of intent, and interpretation allows action with precision. You are not guessing. You are understanding. You are reading human behavior as clearly as text on a page. Practice exercises accelerate mastery. Record observations during meetings, social interactions, or negotiations. Note repeating gestures, phrases, tones, and reactions. Compare outcomes to predictions. Reflect on deviations. Adjust mental models. Practice anticipating actions and motives. Over time, accuracy increases. Your perception sharpens. Your decisions gain speed and certainty. Pattern recognition is no longer deliberate. It becomes instinct. Consider emotional patterns. People respond predictably to praise, critique, or pressure. Some flourish under challenge. Others retreat. Some resist authority. Others conform to expectation. Your skill lies in sensing these tendencies early. Your advantage is acting preemptively. You guide outcomes without confrontation, influence decisions without force, and lead through anticipation rather than reaction. Metaphor reinforces understanding. People are codes. Life is a program. Behaviors are functions that repeat across situations. Learn the code, decode actions, anticipate outcomes, execute response. This is pattern recognition. This is human behavior mastery. This is leadership. Short sentences anchor rhythm. See the rhythm. Know the pattern. Take control. Repeat. Stories reinforce the principle. A client consistently hesitated when committing resources. Many assumed lack of interest. You observed the pattern. Hesitation occurred only after certain topics, under specific pressures. You predicted these triggers. You addressed concerns preemptively. The client responded positively. Agreement emerged swiftly. Influence was maximized. Pattern recognition converted observation into decisive action. Suspense emerges when patterns break. People occasionally deviate. Stress, new incentives, or hidden pressures alter behavior. Your role is to notice these deviations, adapt, adjust, anticipate the new rhythm. Pattern recognition is dynamic. It requires constant observation, feedback, and refinement. Predictability is powerful, but flexibility in interpretation ensures mastery. Short commands maintain focus. Observe, recognize, predict, adjust, lead, repeat. Each moment of observation reinforces skill. Each correct prediction reinforces confidence. Each deviation reinforces awareness. Your understanding grows deeper. Your insight becomes sharper. Your influence becomes effortless. Groups, teams, and organizations operate on patterns too. Projects follow cycles. Decisions repeat under similar pressures. Conflicts emerge predictably. Recognizing these recurring dynamics allows leadership before failure appears. You anticipate outcomes, guide behavior, and influence results. Pattern recognition is not limited to individuals, it scales to any human system. Consider the personal advantage. Understanding patterns reduces uncertainty. You anticipate reactions. You navigate social and professional landscapes with ease. You detect risk before it materializes. You identify opportunity before others notice. The world reveals its rhythm to those who observe, analyze, and act. You are no longer subject to randomness. You become the orchestrator of outcomes. Intuition is amplified by pattern recognition. Your mind begins to see the invisible connections. Situations that seemed complex become predictable. People who appeared unpredictable reveal consistent tendencies. Your anticipation becomes faster. Your decisions become sharper. You respond before confusion arises. You act before hesitation slows progress. Confidence grows because knowledge precedes action. Exercises reinforce mastery. Track behavior across multiple interactions. Note recurring reactions under similar conditions. Observe decision-making under stress. Examine responses to praise, critique, and pressure. Detect subtle cues in tone, gesture, and expression. Record predictions, compare outcomes, refine understanding. Each cycle of observation, prediction, and confirmation strengthens instinctive pattern recognition. Short bursts reinforce practice. See, know, predict, act, repeat, see, know, predict, act, repeat, see, know, predict, act, repeat. Let rhythm become instinct. Let observation become perception. Let anticipation become action. Leadership emerges naturally when pattern recognition is internalized. Stories anchor skill. A team consistently under-delivered on complex projects. External factors were blamed. You observed recurring patterns, misalignment of roles, repeated miscommunication, delays after feedback, and avoidance of accountability. You predicted where breakdowns would occur. You intervened with targeted guidance. Projects succeeded. Confidence grew. Influence solidified. Recognition of patterns created leverage where others saw chaos. Future pacing. Imagine the world unfolding predictably before you. Conversations, meetings, negotiations, even casual interactions reveal tendencies instantly. You see rhythm. You anticipate reactions. You adjust approach. You guide outcomes. Confidence is no longer dependent on chance, it comes from understanding. Influence is no longer reactive, it flows naturally from foresight. Leadership is not granted, it emerges from insight. Metaphor: life is a melody. People are repeating notes. Recognize the sequence. Anticipate the next chord. Conduct the orchestra. Your awareness allows harmony where others experience dissonance. Short, intense commands embed skill. See the rhythm, know the pattern, take control, observe, predict, influence, lead, repeat. Patterns exist in motives, emotion, and response. Fear, desire, ambition, and habit manifest predictably. Detect alignment or misalignment with words and actions. Anticipate reactions to change, challenge, or opportunity. Adjust approach preemptively. Influence outcomes without force. Lead through comprehension, not coercion. Pattern recognition converts knowledge into power. Suspense heightens skill. Some behaviors are subtle, concealed, or irregular. You must observe multiple cues, speech patterns, micro-expressions, timing, gestures, and context. Repetition is often layered. Your mind must integrate multiple signals, detect anomalies, and adjust predictions. Each successful anticipation reinforces intuition. Each deviation refines perception. Each outcome strengthens influence. Short, powerful commands guide practice. Observe, recognize, anticipate, adjust, lead, observe, recognize, anticipate, adjust, lead, let rhythm embed, let perception sharpen, let anticipation guide action, let mastery emerge. You are not guessing, you are understanding, you are understanding, you are understanding, you are understanding, you are understandable. Stories reinforce transformation. A colleague habitually reacted defensively to critique. You observed consistent signs, crossed arms, clipped tone, avoidance of eye contact. You predicted the triggers and tailored feedback. Resistance softened. Alignment improved. Trust grew. Action became seamless. Insight transformed interaction. Pattern recognition turned observation into influence, and influence into leadership. Future pacing. Imagine entering a room and instantly perceiving likely outcomes. Conversations unfold predictably. Decisions align with expectation. Reactions appear before they occur. You adjust approach, guide interactions, and influence outcomes effortlessly. Uncertainty diminishes, confidence rises, leadership emerges naturally. You operate at a level where patterns are visible, predictable, and actionable. Affirm, I recognize, I anticipate, I excel. Let it embed into your mind. Let it guide perception. Let it inform action. Let it strengthen every interaction. Every observation, prediction, and response reinforces mastery. Every moment of insight enhances confidence. Every decision becomes precise. You are unstoppable. You are influential. You are a leader. See the rhythm. Know the pattern. Take control. Life repeats. People repeat. You now understand the code. Observation becomes instinct. Anticipation becomes action. Influence becomes leadership. Confidence becomes leadership. Confluence becomes leadership. Confidence becomes certainty. You are no longer subject to randomness. You are the orchestrator of outcomes. You are prepared. You are aware. You are in command. Chapter 7. Persuasion without manipulation. I guide. I inspire. I lead with integrity. Let these words anchor you, because persuasion without manipulation is not about trickery. It is about alignment. Alignment of intent, words, and action. Alignment of intent, words, and action. Alignment of insight, communication, and influence. When you understand people, deeply see their motives, recognize their patterns, sense their emotions, you gain a power far beyond coercion or force. You gain the ability to guide, inspire, and lead ethically. Influence becomes natural. Cooperation flows effortlessly. Respect becomes automatic. Start with clarity of intent. Before attempting to influence anyone, know your purpose. Are you seeking control, or are you creating alignment? Are you driven by ego or by shared outcomes? True persuasion begins within. It begins with the question, what do I truly want to achieve, and why does it matter? Clarity of purpose sharpens communication. It aligns energy. It attracts cooperation. Without it, words are hollow, actions misdirected, influence fleeting. Calm observation precedes command. You must know what drives the person in front of you. You must perceive their desires, fears, and motivations. You must detect patterns in their behavior, sense emotional currents, and understand context. Persuasion is not guesswork, it is insight applied. When you approach ethically, influence is a natural byproduct of understanding, not manipulation. You do not coerce, you guide, you align, you inspire. Short commands anchor action. Observe, align, guide, influence, repeat. Each interaction is a practice ground for mastering ethical influence. Each observation feeds clarity. Each alignment shapes communication. Each guided action reinforces trust. Influence grows not through deception, but through insight, empathy, and authority rooted in understanding. Consider a scenario. You lead a team meeting where resistance is palpable. A proposal is challenged. Skepticism surfaces, tension thickens. Many would push aggressively, override concerns, or employ pressure tactics. You do not. You observe first. You sense hesitation, motivation, and the underlying concerns behind objections. You align your message with both truth and shared benefit. You communicate clearly, reflecting understanding and proposing solutions that respect both goals and people. Skepticism softens. Cooperation emerges. Influence happens naturally. Trust deepens. Respect grows. Outcomes improve. Respect grows. Outcomes improve. Emotional pacing is essential. Begin calm, observe quietly, build tension as concerns surface, as objections arise, as resistance manifests. Do not mirror stress, channel calm authority. Deliver your message with strength, but with clarity and integrity. Pause strategically. Let silence amplify reflection. Empower through affirmation and alignment. This rhythm transforms interaction. Tension is met with clarity. Conflict dissolves into collaboration, and understanding becomes influence. Your words carry weight when aligned with intent. Speak precisely. Avoid exaggeration. Avoid manipulation. Let your understanding shine through articulation. Choose words that resonate with truth and shared purpose. Let your tone match your intent, confident, calm, and compelling. Actions must reinforce speech. Trust is earned when what you say aligns with what you do. Influence is maximized when intent, words, and action converge seamlessly. Short, punch sentences sharpen impact, guide with clarity, inspire through understanding, lead without force, influence ethically, align completely, repeat. These are not suggestions, they are practice, they are commands. Let them echo in every interaction. Let them shape perception, let them guide action, let them reinforce integrity. Stories anchor mastery. Recall a negotiation where pressure was mounting. The other party was defensive, demanding, and skeptical. Many would have resorted to coercion or threats. You observed patterns, recognized motives, and felt the emotional undercurrents. You aligned your approach with shared interest. You spoke with clarity. You addressed concerns without dismissing fears. Slowly, resistance mounted. Cooperation replaced conflict. Outcomes shifted in favor of mutual benefit. Influence emerged not from force, but from insight and ethical guidance. Future pacing reinforces skill. Imagine yourself entering any high-stakes conversation. You sense emotional currents, you perceive patterns and intentions, you align your communication to resonate with truth and shared purpose. You guide responses, influence decisions, and inspire action. Respect is automatic, cooperation is natural, outcomes flow smoothly. Ethical persuasion transforms interaction into leadership. Suspense builds as you practice restraint. True influence requires patience. Immediate pressure or overt manipulation erodes trust. Observe first. Understand fully. Align second. Communicate third. Act fourth. Timing is essential. When you wait, the moment for maximum influence arrives. Acting prematurely risks confusion. Acting too late loses opportunity. Ethical persuasion is a delicate balance of observation, timing, and action. Consider body language in persuasion. People respond to congruence. Your posture, tone, and expression must match your intent. Misalignment erodes influence. Alignment of verbal and non-verbal communication reinforces clarity, trust, and credibility. Your presence becomes an instrument of guidance. Each movement, pause, and gesture amplifies or diminishes your message. Master this, and influence flows effortlessly. Short commands reinforce practice. Observe, align, guide, influence. Observe, align, guide, influence. Observe, align, guide, influence. Repeat. Let the rhythm become instinct. Let observation feed insight. Let alignment shape communication. Let guidance inspire action. Let influence grow naturally. You are not coercing. You are leading ethically. You are not manipulating. You are inspiring. You are guiding truthfully, with integrity and with clarity. Emotional intelligence underpins persuasion. Understanding feelings, motives, and emotional currents allows precise guidance. Influence is strongest when others feel seen, heard, and understood. Acknowledgement of concerns without capitulation builds trust. Addressing fears without coercion encourages cooperation. Matching intensity without overpowering creates alignment. This is ethical influence, the art of persuasion, without manipulation. Short illustrative story. A team member resists a crucial project pivot. They argue, hesitate, and express doubt. Many would force compliance or issue ultimatums. You observe. You sense the underlying fear, loss of status, uncertainty about skills, concern for recognition. You align your approach, acknowledge their concerns, offer support, clarify shared goals, and propose incremental steps that ensure confidence. Resistance fades. Participation grows. Trust solidifies. Action aligns with intention. Ethical persuasion triumphs. Practice exercises sharpen skill. Observe responses in conversation. Identify resistance. Decode underlying motives. Align your message ethically. Communicate with clarity and purpose. Reflect understanding. Adjust tone, words, and pacing. Act decisively. Measure results. Refine technique. Repetition transforms conscious effort into instinctive influence. You become a leader who inspires without coercion, persuades without manipulation, and guides without force. Short punch sentences maintain focus. Guide. Inspire, lead ethically. Observe, align, influence, repeat. Let them echo in thought and action. Let rhythm guide presence. Let integrity underpin every interaction. Let influence emerge naturally from understanding. You are not forcing outcomes, you are shaping them. You are not manipulating, you are aligning reality with insight. You are leading with truth. Consider timing. Patience amplifies persuasion. Rush and resistance spikes. Wait and insight maximizes. Observe energy shifts. Note readiness to cooperation. Adjust your approach. Deliver guidance with precision. Influence becomes effortless. Respect grows. Results follow naturally. Ethical persuasion magnifies credibility. People follow leaders they trust. Trust is rooted in consistency, integrity, and understanding. Align what you say with what you do. Align what you do with what you intend. Align communication with context. Influence emerges naturally. Authority becomes recognized. Leadership is solidified. Stories reinforce mastery. In a high-pressure negotiation, initial responses were defensive, distrustful, and resistant. Observation revealed underlying fear, concern over resource allocation, and accountability. Instead of pressure, you aligned your communication with their concerns, clarified mutual goals, and presented options that respected boundaries. Skepticism faded. Cooperation emerged, decisions aligned, influence was earned, leadership was established. Persuasion without manipulation changed the outcome. Future pacing. Imagine every conversation flowing with parity. You sense motives, you recognize patterns, you adjust words and tone ethically, you guide decisions, you inspire action. Cooperation is natural, respect is automatic. Outcomes are aligned with mutual goals. Your influence is powerful, ethical, and undeniable. Short commands anchor focus. Observe, align, guide, influence, repeat, watch, understand, speak, act, repeat. Let them become instinct. Let each interaction refine skill. Let every observation reinforce clarity. Let every decision reflect alignment. Let every outcome demonstrate leadership. Ethical influence becomes a natural extension of perception, insight, and integrity. Emotional tension cycles teach mastery. Calm observation, the identification of motives, rising concern, strategic guidance, not for resolution, not for empowerment. Repeat. This rhythm allows you to handle resistance, conflict, and uncertainty with precision. You guide without force. You influence without manipulation. You lead with ethical clarity. Affirm I guide, I inspire, I lead with integrity. Let it resonate through your presence, your communication, and your decisions. Let it guide every interaction. Let it anchor every response. Let it elevate every outcome. Ethical persuasion is your skill, your power, your instrument of leadership. Observe first, align second, communicate third, act fourth. This sequence ensures maximum influence with integrity. You anticipate, guide, and inspire. You lead without coercion. You create alignment without manipulation. Your authority is rooted in understanding. Your leadership is undeniable. Your influence is effortless. Short punchlines reinforce mastery, guide with clarity, inspire through understanding, lead ethically, influence naturally, align completely, repeat, observe, align, guide, influence, repeat. Let them embed in your mind. Let them shape your interactions. Let them transform resistance into cooperation, tension into clarity, and conflict into alignment. You are unstoppable. You are influential. You are a leader. Stories anchor skill into memory. A client resisted a proposal repeatedly, citing concerns that seemed superficial. Observation revealed a deeper issue: fear of accountability and loss of control. Instead of confrontation, you aligned your communication, acknowledged concern, framed shared benefits, and proposed incremental steps, ensuring confidence. Resistance dissolved. Cooperation emerged. Outcome shifted favorably. Ethical persuasion created alignment without manipulation. Influence was earned. Leadership solidified. Short rhythm sentences embed technique. Observe, align, guide. Influence, observe, align, guide, influence, observe, align, guide, influence, observe, align, guide, influence. Repeat. Let rhythm become instinct. Let alignment guide action. Let insight direct communication. Let leadership emerge from understanding, not coercion. Future pacing. Enter any interaction and perceive motives instantly. Align words and actions ethically. Guide response and influence outcome. Respect and trust flow naturally. Cooperation is effortless. Ethical persuasion becomes second nature. Leadership becomes automatic. Influence is undeniable. You operate at a level where clarity, alignment, and integrity guide every decision and every action. Control tension. Observe energy. Identify motives. Align communication. Guide response. Influence ethically. Lead naturally. Repeat. Each step strengthens mastery. Each interaction reinforces skill. Each outcome confirms influence. Your leadership becomes instinctive. Your guidance becomes instinctive. Your inspiration becomes undeniable. You are the leader who persuades without manipulation. You are the force that shapes outcomes with integrity. Affirm, I guide, I inspire, I lead with integrity. Let this affirmation resonate. Let it guide perception. Let it direct action. Let it transform every interaction. Influence is ethical. Leadership is undeniable. Cooperation is natural. You are prepared. You are aware. You are in command. You rise. You lead. You inspire. Chapter 8. Reading between the lines. Listen deeper. Question gently. Observe relentlessly. These are not optional habits. They are the tools that separate those who react from those who understand. Every word carries weight, but not all meaning lies in the words themselves. Tone, timing, hesitation, emphasis, and context speak volumes. When you learn to read between the lines, you no longer depend on surface statements. You perceive truth, detect intention, and navigate complexity with precision. This is the skill that turns conversation into insight and dialogue into influence. Begin with attention to tone, the rise and fall of a voice, the subtle hesitation before an answer, the energy behind a statement. They all reveal intent. Listen for consistency. Does the tone align with the content? A mismatch signals opportunity. A confident word delivered with uncertainty may expose hidden concern. A casual dismissal may mask resistance. Every variation is data. Every nuance is a clue. Observe relentlessly. Do not assume. Decode deliberately. Short commands reinforce practice. Listen, notice, decode. Act. Listen, notice, decode. Act, repeat. Each repetition trains awareness. Each observation sharpens perception. Each decision becomes informed, precise, and powerful. You move beyond surface interaction to understanding what lies beneath words. You anticipate reactions before they unfold. You act with clarity when others are confused. Context is your guide. Words alone are incomplete. History, relationships, environment, and circumstance shape meaning. A statement may appear benign in isolation, but carry urgency or caution in context. Patterns of speech across situations reveal consistency or deviation. Observe trends. Compare statements to past behavior. Interpret significance. Reading between the lines is pattern recognition applied to language and interaction. Imagine a critical negotiation. Words are exchanged cautiously. Positions are stated, commitments are vague. Many focus on the surface, accepting words at face value. You do not. You notice shifts in emphasis, pauses before response, the subtle inflection that signals hesitation or concealment. You sense what is unsaid. You read intention beneath phrasing. You adjust questions, tone, and approach to uncover clarity. Slowly, the truth emerges. Consensus builds. Decisions align. Outcomes shift in your favor. Suspense builds when signals are subtle. Deception rarely shouts, it whispers. Truth often hides behind carefully chosen words. Reading between the lines requires patience. Observe pauses. Notice choice of words. Identify avoidance, repetition, or emphasis. Compare statements to previous behavior, tone, and context. Each small clue compounds into a complete picture. You perceive intention where others only hear statements. You act on insight rather than assumption. Short, punch sentences guide rhythm. Listen deeper. Question gently. Observe relentlessly. Decode subtly. Act decisively. Repeat. Let these statements anchor attention and sharpen perception. Let them guide every conversation, every negotiation, every interaction. Each moment of focus amplifies clarity. Each act of observation builds authority. Each insight generates influence. Story reinforces mastery. During a tense merger discussion, executives presented positions cautiously, words measured, emotions restrained. Many leaders reacted to surface statements, struggling to gain alignment. You observed nuances, inflection changes, slight hesitations, choice of phrasing. Questions were posed to test consistency gently. Responses revealed concerns previously hidden. Alignment emerged. Negotiation succeeded. Influence was achieved without force. Reading between the lines converted observation into power, perception into leadership. Listen for rhythm. Speech has cadence, repetition, and flow. Sudden breaks, inconsistencies, or accelerated pace signal emotion or intention. Hesitation often indicates discomfort or concealment. Emphasis signals priority or hidden focus. Observe how words land. Notice reactions. Track alignment between verbal expression and nonverbal signals. Understanding emerges from patterns, not isolated moments. Reading between the lines is seeing the invisible thread woven through every interaction. Short commands anchor skill. Listen, observe, compare, decode, act, repeat. Notice the pause before response. Detect the subtle shift in tone. Question carefully. Align interpretation with context. Apply insight in real time. Influence outcomes before others recognize opportunity. Each cycle builds instinct. Each observation reinforces mastery. You move decisively where others hesitate. Tone and inflection reveal more than words. Confidence, hesitation, frustration, and excitement are expressed through delivery. Your ear becomes a detector for subtle emotional cues. Recognize patterns. Repeated hesitation may indicate uncertainty. Consistent upbeat tone may mask pressure. Monotone responses may conceal control attempts. Observe relentlessly. Decode intentionally. Apply ethically. Influence emerges naturally when insight guides action. Context amplifies perception. Words divorced from circumstances lose meaning. Historical patterns, situational dynamics, and relational dynamics frame interpretation. A request framed casually may indicate urgency under prior context. A statement delivered with excessive politeness may conceal resistance or resentment. Reading between the lines is integrating words, tone, and context into a coherent understanding of reality. Short commands reinforce attention. Hear fully, contextualize, decode, respond, hear fully, contextualize, decode, respond, hear fully, decode, respond, repeat. Each practice sharpens perception. Each insight strengthens authority. Each decision becomes aligned with deeper understanding. You act decisively with clarity and ethical intent. Influence is not coercion, it is perception applied with precision. Suspense intensifies as deception is subtle. Lies are rarely obvious. Omissions, hesitation, and careful phrasing often signal concealment. Observe contradictions between words, tone, and action. Ask gentle clarifying questions. Note inconsistencies. Patterns emerge, revealing truth. You see where others only hear noise. Insight allows action that is informed. confident, and effective. Story reinforces mastery. In a negotiation with high stakes, one party minimized commitment verbally but avoided direct denial. Many accepted statements at face value. You observed tone, pauses, and phrasing discrepancies. Questions were framed subtly, testing alignment between words and intent. The true position emerged. Cooperation followed, decisions aligned with reality. Reading between the lines converted subtle cues into decisive advantage. Short punch sentences maintain focus. Listen deeper, question gently, observe relentlessly, interpret consistently, act decisively, repeat. Let these words guide practice. Let attention sharpen. Let insight direct action. Each moment of observation strengthens leadership. Each correct interpretation reinforces confidence. Each outcome validates influence. Future pacing elevates skill. Imagine entering any room and perceiving underlying intention instantly. Conversations reveal hidden priorities. Words are contextualized. Tone reveals motive. Subtext becomes visible. Decisions are guided by insight. Influence glows naturally. Leadership manifests effortlessly. Your understanding precedes reaction. Your presence commands clarity. Your action aligns with truth. You are prepared, perceptive, and in command. Context, tone, and word choice create a matrix of meaning. Observing consistencies, verbal statements versus facial expressions, gestures, or energy shifts. Note deviations from prior patterns. Question gently to clarify. Reflect understanding subtly. Your influence emerges not from force, but from perception applied ethically. Reading between the lines allows guidance without manipulation. Action is aligned with truth, influence grounded in understanding, and outcomes enhanced by insight. Short commands guide rhythm. Hear carefully, observe closely, compare thoroughly. Observe closely, compare thoroughly, decode insightfully, act decisively. Repeat. Let perception sharpen instinct. Let observation guide decision. Let interpretation inform action. Influence emerges naturally. Leadership strengthens with clarity. You act where others react. You lead where others hesitate. You inspire where others guess. Story reinforces mastery. A critical negotiation hung on hidden objections. Surface statements were favorable, but hesitation and tone suggested doubt. You noticed pauses, subtle word choices, and energy shifts. Questions were framed carefully to reveal real priorities. Understanding emerged. Cooperation followed. Alignment was achieved. Reading between the lines transformed uncertainty into influence. Subtle signals into decisive action, and observation into leadership. Listen for repetition. Patterns in language, tone, and phrasing reveal priorities, hidden concerns, and authentic intent. Recognize recurring cues. Compare across interactions. Integrate with context. Anticipate likely responses. Influence decisions. Lead with clarity. Insight becomes instinct. Decisions become aligned. Trust and respect are earned. Short punch sentences reinforce skill. Listen deeply. Observe subtly. Question gently. Decode clearly. Act decisively. Repeat. Each cycle builds mastery. Each observation enhances perception. Each insight strengthens influence. You move with authority, predict reactions, and guide outcomes ethically. You are the calm center in complex communication, the perceptive presence in negotiation, the leader who acts with clarity. Future pacing. Imagine every interaction revealing intent, priority, and truth. Tone, timing, and phrasing signal meaning. Subtext becomes clear. Hesitation exposes doubt. Emphasis highlights importance. You observe patterns, anticipate outcomes, and guide responses. Influence is ethical. Decisions are aligned. Leadership is unquestioned. Cooperation is natural. You operate above confusion, uncertainty, and superficiality. Insight directs action. Understanding guides influence. You act decisively with clarity. Short commands reinforce mastery. Listen deeper. Question gently. Observe relentlessly. Decode insightfully. Act decisively. Repeat. Each repetition strengthens perception, refines judgment, and enhances influence. Every word, every pause, every inflection becomes data. Every interpretation informs action. Every insight shapes outcomes. You are unstoppable. You are influential. You are a leader. Stories anchor understanding. In a high-stakes discussion, one party's words suggested agreement, while tone and hesitation implied hesitation. Most leaders acted on surface statements, creating friction. You observed subtleties, word choice, pauses, tone shifts. Questions were framed gently to probe authenticity. True priorities surfaced. Cooperation and alignment emerged. Influence followed naturally. Reading between the lines turned subtle signals into decisive advantage. Integration of observation, context, tone and subtext forms a mastery cycle. Notice, nobitext forms a mastery cycle. Repeat, act, reflect, act, reflect. Each cycle sharpens insight. Each observation builds authority. Each prediction strengthens anticipation. Each action becomes precise. Leadership is enacted ethically. Influence is exercised with clarity. Outcomes align with reality. Trust is reinforced. Cooperation is natural. Your presence commands understanding. Short punch sentences maintain rhythm. Hear fully, observe closely, decode accurately, act decisively, repeat. Let them embed instinctively. Let observation guide perception. Let interpretation shape decisions. Let insight direct influence. Each interaction becomes practice. Each observation refines skill. Each outcome confirms mastery. You move confidently, lead ethically, and act decisively. Suspense and resolution reinforce learning. Reading between the lines demands patience. Observation precedes action. Clarification precedes decision. Insight precedes influence. Timing is critical. Acting prematurely risks error. Acting without observation risks alignment. Acting with perception ensures accuracy, influence, and leadership. Repeat the rhythm. Observe, interpret it, align. Act, master, lead, interpret, align. Act, master, lead. Affirm. I hear truth. I act with clarity. Let this affirmation resonate in every interaction. Let it guide perception, refine judgment, and inform action. Let it strengthen influence, reinforce authority, and anchor leadership. Reading between the lines transforms subtle cues into decisive insight, observation into power, and understanding into influence. You are prepared, you are perceptive, you are in command, you rise, you lead, you inspire, you in command, you in rise, you lead, you inspire. Chapter 9. Self-mastery as the key to understanding. Others, your mind is your battlefield. Control it. Every thought, every reaction, every emotion shapes not only your world, but also the way others respond to you. Self-mastery is not optional, it is essential. You cannot read others clearly if your own mind is clouded. You cannot influence effectively if your emotions dictate action. Your internal state is the lens through which the world appears. Discipline it, refine it, command it, command it. When you master yourself, perception sharpens, judgment strengthens, and your presence commands clarity. Begin with awareness. Observe your thoughts as though they are not yours. Notice patterns of fear, doubt, impatience, or distraction. These patterns are invisible weights, subtle barriers that distort observation and perception. Recognize them, name them, confront them. Each acknowledgement chips away at distraction. Each insight strengthens focus. You rise above reaction and enter deliberate action. Calm attention becomes the foundation of influence. Command your attention. Direct it like a laser. Where you focus, energy flows. Scattered awareness invites error, misreading, and missed opportunity. Focus sharply on people, words, gestures, tone, and context, but only after mastering the flow within yourself. Short commands reinforce practice. Master your mind, sharpen your focus, observe fully, respond intentionally, repeat. Each cycle embeds control into instinct. Each repetition strengthens awareness. Each outcome becomes a reflection of mastery. Emotional regulation underpins perception. Emotions are powerful. They energize action, color judgment, and reveal depth. Yet uncontrolled, they distort observation. Anxiety, frustration, impatience, or excitement can blind you to truth. You must learn to feel deeply while acting deliberately. Identify emotion, acknowledge it, and channel it. Let it inform insight without dictating action. Your mind is the conductor, not the passenger. Calmness amplifies clarity. Awareness sharpens perception. Discipline transforms instinct into intelligence. Short punch sentences guide rhythm. Feel, observe, control, act, repeat, feel, observe, control, act, repeat, feel, observe, control, act, repeat. Each repetition trains emotional resilience. Each cycle strengthens judgment. Each moment of mastery increases perceptive acuity. You do not react impulsively, you respond deliberately. You do not guess, you perceive with precision. Influence flows naturally from inner command. Your mental discipline forms a mirror for external interaction. People reflect what you emit. If you are controlled, composed, and intentional, others mirror clarity, calm, and cooperation. If you are reactive, scattered, or emotionally volatile, they mirror confusion, hesitation, or resistance. Self-mastery is not only internal, it shapes perception externally. Leadership, influence, and understanding begin within. Your growth amplifies their response. Your presence transforms interaction. Consider thought patterns. Automatic reactions are mental habits. They trigger interpretation, bias, and emotion before conscious choice. Interrupt them, recognize them, redirect them. Your mind becomes deliberate rather than reactive. Observation becomes intentional. Decision-making becomes precise. Your awareness no longer competes with internal distraction, dominates and directs. Insight emerges from mastery. Influence follows naturally. Influence follows naturally. Leadership becomes automatic. Short commands reinforce discipline. Observe your mind. Redirect distraction. Align thought. Command attention. Repeat. Awareness of self translates into awareness of others. Emotional control translates into clarity of perception. Mental discipline translates into precision of action. You act decisively because you are anchored, centered, and fully present. You influence effortlessly because perception is unclouded. You lead with authority because mastery radiates outward. Tension builds as awareness deepens. Thoughts will resist. Emotions will flare. Habits will surface. Each is a test. Observe without judgment. Name it. Redirect focus. Let awareness absorb, not react. The mind is your battlefield, but you are the commander. Discipline wins. Control dominates. Insight emerges. The gonates insight emerges. You rise above distraction, confusion, and emotional turbulence. Each victory within strengthens every interaction without. Short illustrative story. During a tense discussion, others reacted with agitation, urgency, and defensiveness. Most leaders mirrored chaos, escalating tension. You maintained composure. You observed your internal reactions, anchored focus, and noticed the patterns in their behavior. Pauses, tone shifts, gestures, and phrasing revealed motives and concerns. You acted with clarity, responding to signals rather than projections. The conversation shifted. Cooperation emerged. Influence followed. Leadership was enacted not through words alone, but through self-mastery that amplified perception. Your body mirrors your mind. Physical discipline enhances mental control. Posture, breathing, energy management, and deliberate movement communicate awareness and authority. A composed presence commands attention. Nervous fidgeting, reactive gestures, or rushed movement signals internal disarray. You are the master of your body, and through it of perception. Breath anchors focus. Movement amplifies clarity. Presence reinforces authority. Each controlled act informs observation. Each deliberate posture strengthens influence. Short commands maintain focus. Master your body. Command your breath. Anchor your presence. Observe fully. Repeat. Each repetition internalizes control. Each act of discipline strengthens perception. Each moment of composure reinforces influence. Your inner mastery becomes visible externally. Others respond not only to words but to your calm authority. Observation becomes effortless. Understanding becomes instinctive. Influence flows naturally. Emotional intelligence magnifies self-mastery. Recognize triggers that provoke bias, impatience, or defensiveness. Respond to emotional stimuli with awareness rather than reaction. Map emotional currents in yourself and others simultaneously. Notice reactions in others and compare with your internal state. Insight grows from alignment. Inner clarity allows perception of external truth. You perceive motives, intentions, and patterns with heightened precision because your mind is disciplined, your emotions regulated, and your attention anchored. Short punch sentences reinforce rhythm. Feel deeply, react deliberately, observe precisely, respond intentionally, repeat. Discipline your mind, control your emotion, guide your focus, lead with clarity, repeat. Each repetition embeds skill. Each observation strengthens mastery. Each act of control amplifies influence. You act decisively where others guess. You perceive insight where others react. You lead with presence where others falter. Future pacing elevates mastery. Imagine entering any situation fully anchored in self-control. Your mind is calm, deliberate, and sharp. Your body is composed, confident, and expressive. Your emotions are aligned, informing insight without clouding judgment. You perceive intentions clearly. You notice patterns instinctively. You interpret verbal and nonverbal cues effortlessly. Decisions are informed, precise, and ethical. Influence flows naturally. Leadership manifests effortlessly. Cooperation is automatic. Outcomes align with insight and intention. Short, illustrative story: a team was in disarray after a major project setback. Frustration, blame, and doubt filled the room. Most responded reactively, escalating tension. You observed internal reactions, anchored calm, and analyzed the dynamics objectively. Emotional triggers in the team were noted, responses predicted, and communication framed deliberately. Insight guided action, tension decreased, focus returned, cooperation emerged. Leadership was enacted silently through presence, composure, and disciplined action. Self-mastery amplified understanding and guided influence. Short commands reinforce practice. Master yourself. Observe deeply. Align internally. Respond intentionally. Repeat. Mastery is not passive. It requires constant awareness, adjustment, and practice. Each moment tests attention, emotional regulation, and discipline. Each cycle reinforces skill. Each act of control strengthens perception. Each decision reflects clarity. Your influence is magnified because your mind is controlled, your presence is anchored, and your actions are deliberate. Mental clarity amplifies reading others. When your mind is unclouded, subtle cues emerge clearly. Tone, hesitation, repetition, emphasis, and micro-expression are perceived instinctively. Patterns in behavior as speech become evident. Intentions are understood before they are stated. Your influence arises not from force, but from informed action. Leadership becomes seamless because perception is precise, insight is immediate, and responses are deliberate. Self-mastery transforms observation into action. Observation becomes influence. Influence becomes leadership. Short punch sentences anchor practice. Observe internally. Notice externally. Notice externally. Decode patterns. Respond decisively. Repeat. Your internal discipline radiates externally. Composed attention amplifies insight. Emotional regulation strengthens interpretation. Mental clarity heightens prediction. Influence becomes effortless. Leadership becomes visible. Understanding emerges instantly. Self-mastery is the foundation for reading and guiding others. Stories reinforce understanding. A critical negotiation involved multiple parties, each reacting emotionally and unpredictably. Most leaders mirrored agitation, creating chaos. You maintained calm awareness, observed internal reactions, and noticed the dynamics and patterns of others. Subtle cues were decoded, intentions revealed, communication was framed deliberately, cooperation and alignment emerged, influence was enacted without force. Leadership was demonstrated through disciplined perception and strategic action. Self-mastery transformed observation into authority, presence into influence, and insight into leadership. Suspense heightens as self-mastery is applied. Distraction, stress, and emotion will challenge attention. Mental and emotional discipline are continuously tested. Each test is an opportunity to strengthen focus, enhance perception, and refine action. Resist reactivity. Anchor clarity. Observe, decode, respond deliberately. Each cycle strengthens mastery. Each moment reinforces influence. Each decision demonstrates authority. Leadership is enacted naturally through presence, awareness, and internal command. Short commands maintain rhythm, master internally. Observe externally. Align with clarity. Respond deliberately. Repeat, let self-mastery guide insight. Let discipline direct observation. Let awareness amplify influence. Let presence command respect. Each interaction becomes practice. Each interaction becomes practice. Each observation reinforces skill. Each action reflects control. You rise above distraction. You are in command. You are in command. You are in control. You lead with clarity. Future pacing. Imagine walking into any room, any conversation, or any negotiation anchored fully in self-mastery. Your mind is disciplined, focused, and perceptive. Your emotions are regulated, aligned, and deliberate. Your body communicates calm authority. You perceive patterns, intentions, and motives instantly. Decisions are precise, informed, and ethical. Influence flows naturally. Cooperation emerges automatically. Leadership is enacted effortlessly. Self-mastery transforms observation into understanding, insight into action, and presence into authority. Affirm, I rise above, I am in control. Let this resonate within. Let it guide thought, anchor emotion, sharpen perception, and direct action. Let every interaction reflect mastery. Let influence emerge naturally. Let leadership be undeniable. Self-mastery is the foundation of perception, influence, and understanding. You are anchored. You are aware. You are decisive. You are unstoppable. You act with clarity. You lead with authority. You inspire effortlessly. Short punch sentences reinforce mastery. Master yourself. Observe fully. Align internally. Respond deliberately. Repeat. Focus, control, lead, influence, understand, repeat. Let rhythm embed. Let awareness sharpen. Let clarity guide every action. Let self-mastery transform every interaction. Every thought is deliberate. Every reaction is intentional. Every decision is precise. Every outcome reflects insight. You are prepared. You are disciplined. You are the commander of yourself. You rise. You lead. You inspire. Chapter 10. Creating instant connection. Engage. Connect. Lead. These are not suggestions. They are your tools, your command, your presence in action. Connection is the bridge between understanding and influence. It is the gateway to trust, the vehicle for rapport, and the foundation of leadership. You cannot inspire, guide, or lead without it. The first moments matter. The first glance, the first words, the first impression, they set the trajectory. Master the art of instant connection, and you transform every interaction into opportunity, influence, and alignment. Begin with presence. Your body speaks before words. Posture, energy, and gaze communicate intent. Stand tall, breathe deeply. Anchor focus. Your presence tells others you are fully here, fully aware, fully capable. Attention is magnetic. People sense when someone is genuinely present. You must radiate calm authority while remaining approachable. Presence is the first signal of trust. It opens doors before a word is spoken. Eye contact is your most direct tool. Look not to intimidate, but to engage. Hold attention intentionally. Notice subtle shifts in the other's eyes, flickers of thought, hesitation, alignment, or interest. Your gaze conveys awareness and respect. It anchors engagement. It builds rapport. Short commands reinforce focus. Look deeply. Notice subtleties. Maintain presence. Repeat. Eye contact is not a glance. It is a bridge. A bridge from observation to connection. Mirroring amplifies resonance. Subtly reflect posture, gestures, and energy. Synchronize tone. pace and rhythm in speech. Mirroring signals understanding, empathy, and alignment. It is not mimicry, it is connection. It conveys, I see you, I hear you, I align with you. Subtle, deliberate mirroring fosters comfort, trust, and cooperation. Observe patterns, adjust subtly, maintain authenticity. Influence grows organically when alignment is perceived. Verbal resonance reinforces rapport. Match vocabulary, phrasing, and style to the other person's communication without losing authenticity. Listen for repeated words, tone, or emphasis. Integrate insight naturally into your responses. Language signals familiarity and understanding. Precision amplifies trust. Over time, resonance creates synergy. Influence becomes effortless. Leadership emerges organically. Short punch sentences guide rhythm. Observe, mirror, speak, connect. Observe, mirror, speak, connect. Observe, mirror, speak, connect, repeat. Each cycle sharpens awareness. Each repetition reinforces rapport. Each observation strengthens connection. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to build trust and influence ethically. Story reinforces mastery. You enter a room filled with strangers, key stakeholders in a critical decision. Most leaders rush, speak quickly, or project authority superficially. You pause, anchor your presence, scan the room subtly, noticing posture, energy, and subtle social dynamics. Engage through intentional eye contact, mirror tone, pace, and energy to align with each individual. Your words resonate, simple and precise. Trust emerges, rapport is built, cooperation follows. Influence grows naturally. The first impression becomes leadership in action. Calm observation builds tension. The stakes are high. The social energy shifts. People test, question, and respond subconsciously. You remain anchored, attentive, and deliberate. Each subtle gesture, tone, or hesitation is data. Each observation informs action. Each aligned response strengthens influence. Connection is a dynamic process, not a static state. Observe continuously, adjust intentionally, respond authentically. Influence deepens with presence and resonance. Short commands reinforce action. Engage fully. Observe closely. Mirror subtly. Speak with clarity. Repeat. Presence is your tool. Observation is your guide. Alignment is your method. Influence is your guide. Alignment is your method. Influence is your outcome. Connection is intentional. Leadership flows from understanding, not force. Rapport is earned, not demanded. Cooperation arises naturally when authenticity is combined with skill. Physical cues reinforce perception. Lean subtly forward to signal interest. Maintain open posture to invite engagement. Nod thoughtfully to acknowledge understanding. Gesture intentionally to emphasize clarity. Your body communicates as powerfully as your words. Each movement, each pause, each breath carries meaning. Awareness of physical cues allows you to create a magnetic presence that draws attention, fosters trust, and amplifies influence. Short punch sentences maintain rhythm. Stand tall, breathe deeply, move deliberately, observe continuously, repeat. Presence communicates intent, awareness guides action, alignment strengthens connection, trust grows naturally, influence follows effortlessly. Leadership manifests through attention, alignment, and resonance. Each interaction becomes practice for mastery. Listening with intensity deepens connection. Hear beyond words, detect intention, emotion, and subtle emphasis. Acknowledge concerns without interruption. Reflect understanding subtly. Integrate insight naturally into your response. Listening is active, not passive. It signals respect, attention, and empathy. It validates others and amplifies your influence. Observation plus resonance equals connection. Presence plus understanding equals leadership. Short commands guide practice. Listen actively, observe attentively, mirror naturally, respond deliberately, repeat. Each interaction strengthens awareness, each reflection deepens trust, each adjustment increases alignment. Every conversation becomes an opportunity for connection, influence, and leadership. Your mastery grows with every observation. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your insight becomes intuitive. Future pacing enhances skill. Imagine entering any room and creating immediate rapport. Your presence communicates calm authority. Eye contact draws attention. Subtle mirroring signals understanding. Words resonate naturally. Listening is active and deep. Trust emerges. Cooperation flows. Influence is seamless. Leadership is demonstrated effortlessly. You shape perception, guide responses, and inspire action. Connection becomes instinctive, immediate, and transformative. Short illustrative story. In a high-stakes negotiation, initial resistance was palpable. Words were cautious, gestures defensive. Most leaders responded with pressure or assertive force. You anchored presence, engaged intentionally, and mirrored tone and energy subtly. Eye contact established trust. Words aligned with understanding and intent. Gradually, hesitation transformed into openness. Resistance softened, and alignment emerged. Influence was enacted naturally, not through force, but through deliberate connection. Leadership was established in the first moments. Suspense builds as connections form. Subtle misalignment can break trust instantly. Awareness, presence, and resonance are required continuously. Observe, adjust, and respond authentically. Detect micro cues, shift in posture, fleeting hesitation, slight change in tone. Use subtle mirroring to reinforce comfort. Communicate with concise, clear language that resonates. Influence strengthens with every aligned signal. Connection deepens with every acknowledged cue. Leadership flows when alignment is constant. Short commands reinforce skill. Observe, mirror, speak, listen, align, repeat, listen, align, repeat. Each cycle sharpens insight. Each observation strengthens influence. Each action builds rapport. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to practice, refine, and master connection. Presence becomes instinct. Resonance becomes natural. Influence becomes effortless. Leadership manifests clearly and immediately. Emotional intelligence amplifies connection. Perceive emotional cues in real time. Acknowledge without judgment. Reflect subtly. Respond with empathy while maintaining composure. Emotional resonance creates trust, reduces resistance, and fosters cooperation. You act ethically, guiding outcomes without coercion. Influence emerges organically from authentic understanding. Connection strengthens leadership. Every gesture, tone, and word contributes to perception, rapport, and trust. Short punch sentences anchor rhythm. Engage intentionally. Observe consistently. Mirror subtly. Respond ethically. Repeat. Awareness drives insight. Resonance amplifies influence. Observation informs action. Connection creates trust. Influence follows naturally. Leadership is visible and compelling. Presence, attention, and alignment define every interaction. You act deliberately, you respond authentically, you lead confidently. Future pacing strengthens practice. Imagine meeting new people and establishing instant rapport. Eye contact conveys presence, mirroring signals alignment, tone resonates naturally. Listening uncovers unspoken priorities. Trust emerges, cooperation flows, influence is effortless. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to inspire, guide, and lead ethically. Connection transforms perception into understanding, insight into influence, and first impressions into leadership. Short illustrative story. On the first day of onboarding a new team, uncertainty was high, energy scattered. Most managers rushed to instruct, creating distance. You anchored presence, observed interactions, and mirrored tone subtly. Listening revealed priorities, anxieties, and motivators. Words were carefully chosen to align with perception and context. Trust grew, rapport deepened, cooperation increased. Leadership was established instantly through deliberate connection and awareness. Influence was enacted ethically, perception guided, and effective. Physical and verbal alignment reinforces perception. Observe gestures, posture, and expression. Adjust tone and pacing. Subtle mirroring amplifies comfort. Acknowledge concerns with words and presence. Synchronize energy naturally. Each supple action communicates understanding. Each intentional pause reinforces clarity. Each aligned response strengthens connection. Trust, influence, and cooperation flow from mastery of observation and presence. Short commands reinforce rhythm. Engage fully. Observe closely. Mirror subtly. Resolve subtly. Discern intently. Respond deliberately. Repeat. Presence becomes magnetic. Insight becomes instinctive. Trust becomes automatic. Influence emerges naturally. Leadership manifests effortlessly. Every first impression transforms into authority. Every interaction into connection. Every word into alignment. You are the leader who engages instantly, bonds quickly, and inspires consistently. Suspense rises as subtle cues guide connection. Resistance may appear. Hesitation may surface. Anxiety may cloud perception. Observe micro-expression. Observe micro-expressions. Adjust tone, phrasing, and posture. Mirror subtle shifts. Engage through active listening. Respond with clarity. Influence grows naturally as alignment increases. Trust solidifies. Rapport becomes effortless. Leadership radiates from mastery of observation, resonance, and deliberate engagement. Short punch sentences anchor mastery. Engage. Connect. Lead. Lead. Observe. Mirror. Listen. Respond. Align. Repeat. Each repetition sharpens skill. Each observation strengthens influence. Each action builds rapport. Presence communicates authority. Resonance builds trust. Connection fosters cooperation. Leadership manifests immediately. Influence flows naturally. Insight guides every decision. Every interaction becomes practice. Every observation informs mastery. Every outcome reflects deliberate engagement. Future pacing. Imagine entering any room and immediately commanding trust, building rapport, and creating influence. Eye contact establishes presence. Subtle mirroring signals alignment. Words resonate naturally. Listening uncovers priorities. Trust emerges instinctively. Cooperation flows effortlessly. Influence is ethical and immediate. Leadership is evident from the first moment. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to inspire, guide, and lead. Connection transforms understanding into influence, rapport into leadership, and presence into impact. Affirm, I attract, I bond, I inspire. Let this resonate through presence, speech, and action. Let it guide observation, sharpen perception, and strengthen influence. Let every interaction reflect mastery, every impression communicate authority, and every response build trust. Connection is deliberate. Influence is ethical. Leadership is immediate. You engage fully. You connect deeply. You lead with clarity. You inspire effortlessly. Short punch sentences reinforce practice. Engage, connect, lead, observe, mirror, listen, respond, align, repeat. Let rhythm embed. Let awareness sharpen. Let resonance guide every interaction. Let insight direct influence. Let trust and cooperation flow naturally. Presence becomes instinctive. Connection becomes immediate. Influence becomes effortless. Leadership is evident in every interaction. You act decisively. You respond authentically. You inspire consistently. You inspire consistently. You lead undeniably. Chapter 11. Handling difficult personalities. They push. You rise. You win. These are not just words. They are the rhythm of mastery in action. Difficult personalities will test you, challenge you, and provoke reaction. Your response defines the outcome. Resistance is inevitable. Conflict is optional. The skill of handling challenging individuals is not about confrontation. It is about presence, clarity, and strategy. You maintain your power because your internal command is unshakable. You remain composed because your focus is deliberate. You prevail because you act with insight, not impulse. Begin with observation. Notice patterns in behavior, tone, and posture. Difficult personalities often communicate through subtle signals, tension in voice, rigidity in body, sudden shifts in emotion, or calculated provocation. Observe relentlessly. Do not react immediately. Resist the urge to mirror aggression. Anchor yourself in calm awareness. Each observation informs action. Each insight empowers control. Each moment of composure strengthens authority. Short commands reinforce rhythm. Watch closely. Breathe deeply. Stay present. Respond deliberately. Repeat. Presence is your first line of defense. Observation is your guide. Composure is your tool. Insight is your weapon. Resistance loses power when met with calm mastery. You rise above distraction, provocation, and emotional triggers. You act decisively where others react impulsively. Emotional regulation is critical. Difficult personalities often provoke anger, frustration, or defensiveness. Do not give in. Recognize your emotions without judgment. Acknowledge the internal response, then redirect focus. Channel energy into clarity, not reaction. Maintain deliberate breathing, steady posture, and intentional tone. Your calm radiates authority. Your clarity signals control. Your composure disarms hostility. Short punch sentences anchor attention, feel. Anchor, control, respond, repeat. Each repetition reinforces mastery. Each breath restores focus. Each observation sharpens perception. Story reinforces mastery. In a high-stakes team environment, a colleague consistently challenged authority, derailed meetings, and escalated tension. Most reacted with impatience or defensiveness, escalating conflict. You observed patterns, timing of interruptions, tone fluctuations, and posture shifts. You anchored presence, maintained calm voice, and responded with clarity and focus. Subtle acknowledgement of valid points, paired with deliberate redirection, diffused tension. Collaboration emerged, authority was maintained, resistance transformed into cooperation. Observation, composure, and strategy converted challenge into opportunity. Short commands guide rhythm. Observe, anchor, redirect, respond, repeat. Every interaction becomes practice. Every moment of provocation tests mastery. Every subtle shift in tone or behavior is data. You move beyond personal reaction. You respond with strategy. You influence without coercion. You lead through composure and insight. Difficult personalities become opportunities to exercise presence, command, and understanding. Build tension as patterns reveal. Subtle provocations will continue. Words may sting. Gestures may intimidate. Intentional disruption is likely. Maintain internal focus. Notice the source, frequency, and intent of challenge. Each observation sharpens prediction. Each pause enhances clarity. Each deliberate action reinforces authority. Composure transforms tension into control. Observation converts challenge into opportunity. Presence neutralizes conflict before it escalates. Short illustrative story. During a negotiation, one party consistently tested boundaries, interrupted strategically, and projected superiority. Most responded defensively, losing composure. You anchored attention, observed cues, and anticipated triggers. Short pauses before responses allowed clarity. Tone was calm but firm. Body posture was open yet authoritative. Subtle acknowledgement of valid concerns paired with precise redirection transformed tension into alignment. Resistance softened. Cooperation emerged. Influence became natural. Leadership was enacted through mastery of self and observation of others. Future pacing strengthens skill. Imagine any interaction with challenging personalities becoming effortless. You anticipate provocations. You maintain composure under pressure. You respond deliberately and ethically. Resistance transforms into collaboration. Tension becomes opportunity. Observation guides action. Presence anchors influence. Words align with perception. Gestures reinforce authority. Leadership is evident. Outcomes reflect clarity, insight, and mastery. You rise above chaos. You lead decisively. You prevail effortlessly. Short punch sentences reinforce practice. Observe patterns. Anticipate action. Anchor, calm, respond strategically. Repeat. Observation becomes instinct. Composure becomes distinct. Authority becomes visible. Resistance loses power. Influence flows naturally. Insight guides every decision. Mastery is enacted consistently. Leadership is reinforced in every interaction. Difficult personalities become mirrors, reflecting your control, your clarity, and your presence. Understand triggers. Difficult individuals often test limits by exploiting weaknesses. Identify what provokes reaction in yourself. Recognize the mental and emotional triggers. Name them. Observe without attachment. Redirect energy toward insight and strategic response. Each trigger becomes a signal, not a weapon. Each provocation becomes an opportunity for deliberate action. Each test strengthens mastery. Your internal command grows stronger with every challenge. Short commands maintain rhythm, recognize triggers, anchor attention, redirect energy, respond with clarity. Repeat. Each repetition strengthens resilience. Each observation enhances prediction. Each calculated response reinforces authority. You act ethically. You respond deliberately. You act ethically. You influence naturally. Every difficult interaction becomes a practice field for presence, composure, and strategic leadership. Resistance is transformed into opportunity. Conflict is neutralized by insight and observation. Emotional intelligence amplifies success. Perceive underlying needs, fears, and intentions. Difficult behavior often masks insecurity, control needs, or misalignment of interest. Observe without judgment. Validate insight subtly. Align response with ethical influence, not confrontation. Emotional awareness allows prediction and redirection. Presence communicates authority. Listening conveys understanding. Strategic alignment fosters cooperation. Observation plus emotional insight equals mastery. Every interaction strengthens influence, even under challenge. Short punch sentences reinforce rhythm. Observe intent. Anchor calm. Respond ethically. Influence strategically. Repeat. Presence anchors authority. Awareness guides action. Emotional regulation strengthens insight. Observation amplifies influence. Every challenge becomes a test of mastery. Every provocation becomes an opportunity. Every reaction becomes an opportunity. Every reaction becomes deliberate. Leadership flows naturally. Influence emerges effortlessly. Authority is undeniable. You act decisively. You remain unshaken. You prevail consistently. Short illustrative story. A project manager repeatedly challenged decisions during high-pressure meetings, creating tension and uncertainty. Most leaders reacted defensively or attempted to assert dominance, escalating conflict. You observed patterns, timing of objection, phrasing, and body tension. You anchored composure, engaged selectively, and responded with deliberate acknowledgement followed by redirection. Over time, resistance decreased, cooperation increased, influence was enacted naturally, leadership was reinforced through observation, composure, and ethical action. Difficult personalities became opportunities for mastery and insight. Anticipate escalation without surrender. Tension may rise. Words may sharpen. Posture may stiffen. Observe and interpret consistently. Notice subtle micro-cues, pauses, gestures, tone shifts, energy fluctuations. Respond with calm precision. Adjust alignment subtly. Use pauses strategically. Speak deliberately. Influence is enhanced through perception, not force. Leadership manifests through control, clarity, and ethical action. Short commands guide practice. Observe, predict, anchor, respond, lead, repeat. Each repetition strengthens instinct. Each observation enhances understanding. Each response increases influence. Each interaction reinforces leadership. Presence becomes instinctive. Insight becomes intuitive. Authority becomes visible. Resistance becomes manageable. Conflict is neutralized. Cooperation is amplified. Leadership is enacted effortlessly. Future pacing enhances skill. Imagine entering any high-pressure interaction with difficult personalities. You perceive patterns instantly. You anticipate provocations. You maintain composure. You respond with deliberate insight. Resistance transforms into collaboration. Tension becomes opportunity. Observation guides action. Influence flows naturally. Leadership is evident. Every interaction reflects mastery, control, and strategic presence. You rise above challenge. You remain calm. You lead decisively. You prevail effortlessly. Short punch sentences reinforce mastery. They push. You rise. You respond. You prevail. Observe, anchor, redirect, lead, repeat. Mastery is enacted consistently. Composure is default. Insight is instinct. Authority is visible. Insight is an instinct. Authority is visible. Influence is natural. Resistance is transformed. Conflict is neutralized. Leadership is undeniable. You remain calm. You stay strong. You prevail. Stories anchor understanding. During a corporate restructuring, stakeholders tested boundaries aggressively. Most leaders reacted with defensiveness, creating friction. You observed behavioral patterns, timing, tone, phrasing, energy shifts. You anchored presence, listened actively, and responded deliberately. Subtle acknowledgement of valid concerns coupled with precise redirection diffused tension. Cooperation increased, decisions aligned with objectives, influence was achieved naturally. Leadership manifested through observation, composure, and strategic action. Difficult personalities became opportunities to exercise mastery. Short commands maintain rhythm, watch, predict, anchor, respond, influence, repeat, anchor, respond, influence, repeat. Observation becomes instinct. Presence becomes default. Authority becomes visible. Insight becomes actionable. Resistance is transformed. Tension is neutralized. Leadership flows effortlessly. Every interaction becomes practice. Every challenge becomes opportunity. Every provocation becomes manageable. You remain calm. You stay strong. You prevail. Affirm, I remain calm, I stay strong, I prevail. Let this resonate internally. Let it guide perception, anchor composure, sharpen insight, and direct action. Let every interaction with resistance reflect mastery, deliberate presence, and strategic leadership. Let influence flow naturally. Let authority be visible. Let collaboration emerge effortlessly. You are in control. You are composed. You are decisive. You rise above. You lead, you win consistently. Short punch sentences reinforce mastery. They push, you rise, you respond, you prevail. Observe, anchor, redirect, lead, repeat, repeat, repeat. Let rhythm embed. Let awareness sharpen. Let clarity guide every interaction. Let insight direct influence. Let composure neutralize resistance. Let leadership flow naturally. Presence becomes instinctive. Influence becomes instinctive. Influence becomes effortless. Mastery is undeniable. You act decisively. You prevail consistently. You lead with authority. You inspire effortlessly. Chapter 12. Becoming the person who sees all you see. You act. You lead now. The culmination is here. Every skill, every insight, every moment of practice converges. Your mind is sharpened. Your body is anchored. Your presence is magnetic. You perceive patterns, motives, and intentions instantly. You decode words, gestures, and emotions with precision. Observation, listening, insight, and influence are now inseparable from who you are. You have become the person who sees all. There is no hesitation, no doubt, only clarity, only action, only leadership. Begin with presence. Anchor yourself in the moment, your breath steady, your posture commanding yet open. Every micro-movement intentional, every gesture communicates authority. Your focus is deliberate, your attention is fully engaged. The room, the conversation, the situation, all unfold before you, fully perceptible. Nothing escapes observation. Subtle shifts in energy, fleeting expressions, changes in tone, they are data, not distraction. You absorb it all, processing instantly. Every observation fuels action. Every action enacts influence. Every influence reinforces leadership. Short commands drive momentum, focus, observe. Decode, respond, lead, repeat. Your perception is no longer reactive. It is instinctive. Your intuition is calibrated by observation, insight, and disciplined awareness. You detect truth where others are deceived. You perceive opportunity where others hesitate. You align influence where others guess. Your mind anticipates. Your actions follow. Your presence commands. Short, rapid lines punctuate rhythm. Watch now. Act fast. Lead fully. Influence naturally. Repeat, integration is seamless. Skills once separate now converge into a unified capability. Eye contact, mirroring, and verbal resonance enhance rapport. Observation of micro-expressions reveals motives and emotional currents. Pattern recognition predicts behavior. Emotional intelligence guides calibrated responses. Persuasion is ethical, subtle, and immediate. Conflict is neutralized before it arises. Self-mastery anchors decision-making. Each skill amplifies the other. The whole exceeds the sum of its parts. You are unstoppable because mastery is complete. Short punch sentences maintain intensity. Align, focus, sense, respond, influence, lead, repeat. Presence communicates authority. Awareness guides action. Observation informs strategy. Insight drives influence. Mastery manifests in every moment. Leadership radiates from perception, action, and discipline. You are no longer learning, you are becoming. You are no longer practicing, you are enacting. You are no longer aspiring, you are. High energy crescendo builds tension. Words become rapid. Breathes sync with rhythm. Thoughts sharpen. Awareness expands. The environment unfolds with clarity. Signals, patterns, and cues converge. Your mind processes at lightning speed. Decisions are deliberate, precise, and ethical. Influence is enacted seamlessly. Leadership is undeniable. Every interaction becomes opportunity. Every observation becomes opportunity. Every observation becomes insight. Every action becomes authority. Every outcome reflects your mastery. Short commands drive momentum. See clearly, act decisively, lead boldly. Influence ethically, respond instinctively, observe relentlessly. Repeat. The cadence intensifies. Each phrase reinforces identity. Each repetition consolidates skill. Each cycle embeds mastery deeper into instinct. You rise above hesitation. You rise above doubt. You rise above distraction. You rise fully into leadership, perception, and influence. Story illustrates integration. In a critical cross-functional meeting, multiple high-stakes personalities interact simultaneously. Subtle tension, unspoken agendas, and conflicting motives saturate the room. Most leaders react in fragments, responding to conflict, misinterpreting cues, or rushing decisions. You enter anchored, observing and decoding continuously. Micro-expressions reveal hidden intent. Voice tone signals concern and alignment. Gestures indicate priority shifts. Patterns of behavior predict reactions. Subtle verbal resonance fosters alignment. Ethical persuasion guides collaboration. Self-mastery maintains composure. Decisions are clear. Outcomes are precise. Influence unfolds naturally. Leadership is enacted seamlessly. You see all. You act decisively. You lead fully. Short punch sentences reinforce rhythm, notice patterns, decode signals, align energy, respond deliberately, influence naturally, lead effortlessly. Repeat. Each repetition embeds instinct. Each observation enhances insight. Each action reinforces authority. Every interaction becomes practice. Every test becomes opportunity. Every challenge becomes clarity. Your presence is unshakable. Your perception is unerring. Your influence is unstoppable. Future pacing amplifies transformation. Imagine walking into any situation and immediately perceiving every motive, every intention, every unspoken truth. You anticipate behavior, respond ethically, and align influence seamlessly. Trust emerges instinctively. Cooperation flows naturally. Conflict is neutralized before it arises. Every action is deliberate. Every decision is precise. Every word resonates. Every gesture communicates clarity. Every outcome reflects mastery. You are unstoppable. You are complete. You are the person who sees all. Short punch sentences intensify. Observe deeply. Decode instantly. Respond decisively. Influence ethically. Lead fully. Repeat. Awareness is instinct. Insight is immediate. Authority is undeniable. Influence is seamless. Leadership manifests naturally. Presence commands. Trust flows. Cooperation amplifies. Every interaction becomes effortless mastery. Every signal is perceptible. Every opportunity is seized. Every challenge is overcome. You rise fully. You act fully. You lead fully. High-energy story reinforces peak performance. In a volatile strategic negotiation spanning multiple stakeholders, tensions were high, motives hidden, and alliances uncertain. Most participants reacted, projected, or guessed outcomes. You entered, anchored, fully present, and fully aware. Every micro-expression, gesture, pause, and intonation was observed and decoded. Pattern recognition predicted responses. Emotional intelligence calibrated responses. Ethical persuasion aligned intent and action. Every word, gesture, and action was deliberate. Trust emerged. Cooperation flourished. Influence was enacted effortlessly. Leadership radiated from clarity, insight, and presence. You saw all. You acted decisively. You led fully. The room responded. Outcomes aligned. Success was inevitable. Short commands maintain. Momentum, focus now. Decode clearly. Act decisively. Lead fully. Influence ethically. Repeat. Each repetition reinforces mastery. Each observation consolidates perception. Each deliberate response strengthens authority. Each outcome validates skill. Mastery is embodied. Presence is instinctive. Insight is instantaneous. Influence is natural. Leadership is visible. You no longer react. You act. You no longer guess. You lead. You no longer aspire. You are. Integration reaches culmination. Self-mastery anchors thought and emotion. Observation decodes reality instantly. Listening uncovers unspoken truths. Pattern recognition predicts action. Emotional intelligence guides response. Ethical persuasion aligns influence. Conflict is neutralized. Rapport is immediate. Trust is established naturally. Influence flows effortlessly. Leadership manifests seamlessly. Every skill supports the others. Every capability amplifies perception. Every action reflects authority. Every outcome embodies mastery. You are complete. You are unstoppable. You are the person who sees all. Short punch sentences sustain crescendo. Observe, decode, respond, influence, lead, repeat. Presence is anchored. Awareness is constant. Insight is immediate. Repeat. Presence is anchored. Awareness is constant. Insight is immediate. Action is deliberate. Influence is natural. Leadership is visible. Every interaction demonstrates mastery. Every challenge is opportunity. Every outcome reflects skill. Every moment reinforces authority. You see all. You act decisively. You lead fully. Future pacing solidifies transformation. Imagine every interaction revealing truth, every action powerful, every decision precise. You anticipate behavior, decode intention, and align influence. Trust emerges naturally. Cooperation flows instinctively. Conflict is neutralized. Outcomes align with vision. Leadership is evident without effort. Presence radiates authority. Influence flows effortlessly. Insight is instantaneous. You are fully anchored, fully perceptive, fully effective. You are the person who sees all. You are complete. You are unstoppable. Short punch sentences anchor final mastery. See clearly. Act decisively. Lead boldly, influence ethically, respond instinctively, observe relentlessly, repeat. Identity is transformed, presence is absolute, insight is unmatched, authority is undeniable, influence is seamless, leadership is inevitable. Every interaction, every decision, every action reflects your mastery. You rise fully, you act fully. You lead fully. You inspire effortlessly. You command impact. You shape outcomes. You are unstoppable. Listener affirmation reinforces transformation. I am ready. I rise. I decide who I become. Let this resonate within. Let it guide every thought, sharpen every perception, anchor every action, and amplify every outcome. Let every interaction reflect mastery. Let influence be immediate. Let leadership radiate from presence, insight, and authority. You are fully transformed. You are fully equipped. You are unstoppable. You act decisively. You lead fully. You inspire effortlessly. You embody greatness. High energy cadence concludes. Observe, decode, act, lead, repeat. Focus, presence, insight, authority, influence, repeat, focus, presence, insight, authority, influence. Every breath sharpens clarity. Every glance captures truth. Every word aligns influence. Every action enacts leadership. Every interaction demonstrates mastery. You are fully anchored. You are fully aware. You are fully capable. You are the person who sees all. You rise. You act. You lead. You are unstoppable. You have arrived. Every skill you practiced, every moment of focus, every deliberate action has brought you here. Your perception is sharp. You see what others miss. You notice patterns, motives, and intentions instantly. Your influence is natural, ethical, and powerful. You guide outcomes without force, inspire cooperation without manipulation, and lead with clarity that commands respect. Your leadership is no longer aspirational. It is embodied, visible, undeniable. Feel it. The transformation is complete. You no longer react. You act. You no longer guess. You decide. You no longer wait. You lead. Every interaction, every decision, every moment of choice reflects your mastery. Resistance becomes opportunity. Tension becomes clarity. Challenge becomes clarity. Challenge becomes growth. You have leveled up. You are anchored in your presence. You are grounded in your insight. You are unstoppable in your action. You are the person who sees, understands, and leads. Identity is no longer abstract. It is lived, expressed, and reinforced in every breath, gesture, and word. Confidence radiates from your awareness. Authority flows from your composure. Influence emerges naturally from your clarity and alignment. Your future is not uncertain. It is created, directed, and executed by your conscious mastery. Stand now. Step forward. Nothing holds you back. Every skill you've honed, every insight you've developed, every connection you've forged empowers action. Your path is clear. Your focus is unwavering. Your leadership is inevitable. Affirm with conviction, I rise. I decide. I am unstoppable. Let this resonate in your mind, anchor in your body, and echo through your actions. Your transformation is complete. Your journey has only begun. You lead, you influence, you inspire. You are unstoppable.